Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's for
Hey, me.
Riley.
Oh my God.
That one was giving church today. It was like
Which one,
Latin
mine?
prayer.
Mine?
Yeah, it was like, oh, I almost tried to speak Latin. It wasn't going to happen.
Do you know
Like
any
in
Latin?
Sound of Music.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like we've done another Sound of Music one
When they're
too.
like, sanctimonium da dee da.
Yes, totally. When they're about to, they're doing that, and then they start to, and Maria's a little late for church.
They go off on her.
Well, remember, one of them likes her. A lot of them like her.
One of them calls her a clown.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
A
There's-
will-o'-the-wisp, a clown.
Yeah, she's a something. She's a saint. She's a
Yes.
something. She's a lamb. Right?
Yeah. She'd outpest any pest, drive a hornet from its nest. She'd unwhirl a whirling dervish out of whirl.
So they're just saying she's endearing to them. Only one is kind
Yeah.
of a stinker that doesn't like Maria's
Yeah, they
presence.
like narc her out for being late for like having fun in a meadow.
Who couldn't like her?
Right.
I guess
she's,
someone a stick in the mud.
Totally. She's jealous because Maria lives by the tenets of God and lives in the moment and
Yes.
loves nature.
Yes.
And this other chick is just all about the rules.
Like the schedule and like time and Maria's more like time is a human construct.
Totally.
I'd rather be frolicking in the grass.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the the Housewives Marie? Who's the Maria of the Housewives franchise?
That's a good
Who
question.
is a whirling dervish, a meadow in the lands? Who is not bound by the constructs of humanity and just has, you know what?
What?
Kim Richards.
Yeah.
Remember when she
I love
bows
turtles.
down? She loves turtles. Remember when she bowed down to pray by that garbage can right when they got on that trip?
Yeah.
That's something Maria would do.
Totally.
And you know why I said Kim Richards? Because I got very
She's
lucky.
in your line of sight.
Yeah. But she does have an innocent spirit.
Totally.
I mean, I'm sure we could
I mean,
of,
probably in modern day retelling, Maria from Sound of Music would have a drug problem. She's
Yes.
too sensitive.
Yeah, and I also didn't want to negate Kim's Maria-ness by saying something, because she did, I don't equate, I didn't want to bring her drug, like, what do you call that? Drug addiction into it, because that could have just happened to Maria, possibly.
Right.
So, anyway, but yeah, let's go with Kim.
Okay. Yeah, well, she is in Riley's line of sight right now because a beautiful turtle cutie named Christina, who has a brand called Hello Harlot, sent us all these amazing Bravo greeting cards and coloring books that we're completely obsessed with. We're going to definitely post them on Instagram. But there's one, I'll show the YouTubers, but there's one with Kim in the limo that says, "You stole my goddamn heart."
Yeah, a little tweak on "You stole my goddamn house." And also something that you could imagine Maria from Sound of Music saying.
Totally. There's, "Did you know this card cost $25,000?" The Dana Wilkie.
Yes.
There's "This card will never emotionally fulfill you," Alison Dubois.
Yeah, amazing. And they all look beautiful. All these cards are fun. And then the coloring books.
Oh my gosh.
I was
yeah.
kind of stunned. There's a Scandival edition coloring book where all of the beautiful things you can color are related to Scandival. And then there's the Best of Housewives edition, which I thought was very fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was
a classic Pump Rules.
Yes.
It's really fun. So, I mean, this is not Spawn. We're just
Yeah.
showing our appreciation, but I really feel like it's a great gift for the Bravo lover in your life.
Yeah, so Christina, thank you so much. And yeah, anyone who sends us anything, we'll talk about it forever. And it's so
Send us
beautiful.
gifts.
Yeah, these are so fun. Watch on YouTube and see these things, but the Scandival edition Pump Rules coloring book is iconic. It's all so great. Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, there's a haunting drawing of Sandoval dressed as Raquel in the Tom Tom hoodie, and
Completely cursed.
it's insane. So yes, thank you for that, and we love our cuties. Speaking of Scandival, the Bethenny interview is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
Stassi covered her thoughts on the Bethenny Rachel interview on her podcast.
In depth.
Yeah.
It was like 30 minutes dedicated to it.
Yeah. What did you think?
So overall, I didn't think Stassi would comment on it. I don't know. I thought she would maybe be taking a break from Vanderpump Rules related content. I was so glad she talked about it because her, insight into this whole thing is very valuable. And for me, I guess the biggest takeaway was that for the most part she believed Rachel, like she believed the things she was saying, apart from the stuff that she thought that Rachel was like misled about, like the Sandoval producer credit.
Yeah.
That's
right. She kind of like said everything that we said. We kind of agreed where it was like, I believe that she thinks she's telling the truth.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that it's actually true, but based on the information Raquel is working with, she thought she was being honest.
Yes. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. It was good to have a more nuanced view of this thing because overwhelmingly, I'd say 90% of the people who listen to the Bethenny interview just absolutely hate it with every fiber of their being and want to, want to hate Bethenny, hate Rachel, and like we didn't really do that. I mean, it's like you can parse out what's a lie, you can parse out what's the truth, and just take away something. But for the most part, I thought it was valuable to have that conversation out there.
I mean, yeah, I will say I kind of agreed with what they were saying of like, they don't blame Bethenny for taking the interview. Like, why not do that? But it is perhaps hypocritical if she didn't pay Raquel because she's kind of just engaging in the same exact thing. I don't think that Bethenny should get too much credit in that. Essentially, anyone that would have taken on that interview and just let Rachel talk, would have gotten that. Actually, it could have been way better. Someone who, us, we would have known every nook and cranny of the storyline, what happened. We could ask the right questions. Bethenny did not watch the show ever, and that's something that pissed off Stassi, where she was like, she called it lazy, and she was uninformed, and they pointed out all these things that. It was true. I'm glad that she mentioned this. She was like, it felt like Bethenny was trying to take down Ariana specifically, which was weird.
Yeah, because she didn't know the show and her only context for who Ariana is was from the 3-part reunion, which is obvious. That's not representative of Ariana at all.
Yeah.
Like it's the angriest she'll ever be in her life.
Entire 100 years on Earth.
Yes, totally. So Bethenny, was like, oh, I can't believe she still lives in the same house as, her ex. Does that make you think about her differently? And the words that she said about Rachel. So yeah, that was Bethenny didn't do a good job as an interviewer by not at least binging some essential episodes of Vanderpump Rules. Like she could have. Yeah,
she must have a producer that could have helped with some of that. Yeah. And then Taylor, I can never remember her name. Strecker. Stassi's, is that her co-host or she's just on sometimes?
I think every time I've listened to the podcast, she's on it. So I think co-host.
She mentioned another thing that Bethenny brought up where Bethenny was using Below Deck Down Under as an example of toxic reality TV, and that I got all fired up even though I didn't listen to that part. Taylor was saying that Bethenny was like, and then, the bosun climbed in bed and the cameras were just rolling and the captain had to fire that person and whatever. And I was glad she brought this up because I was like, I would be so screaming at my phone if I was listening to a podcast and Bethenny was saying that, where you'd be like, the camera people and the producers are the one that saved her.
That's the one notable, it happens immediately in the clip.
That's the whole point.
Who relayed that information to Bethenny and just didn't say that part? It happens.
Yeah, like the captain fired that guy 24 hours later.
Yeah, it happens within the same scene. The production is getting involved.
They're the ones who stop it.
So how did Bethenny get that wrong?
She just wanted it for her example that the crew and that Andy and everyone should be protecting these people, and she didn't care that that's in fact what did happen. She was like, no, it's just a good jumping off point, which then got me fired up about the entire thing again, because I was like, she just says whatever she wants. And I'm like, I know we named her #1 housewife and I still watch her TikToks and her tirades against TJ Maxx and all of this. I understand I'm part of the problem, but it just makes me so mad that she feels so
Yes.
emboldened to say whatever she wants without
Yes.
the information, when we all publicly, as just,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll call us experts, but the layman has the information. It was
Yes.
public knowledge.
Yeah. And I think Stassi said this, like, a big criticism of Bethenny is that she thinks she is the authority on every single subject in the world.
She knows it all.
She knows it all, which is just, in this instance, every Vanderpump Rules watcher got to see her fail at this
Right.
interview. So, yeah, that was a bummer. And I guess Rachel probably could have had illuminating answers in any environment. And if anything, Bethenny might have been a detriment to that story getting told.
Right.
So I like what we heard from Rachel, but yeah, Bethenny was just not the best place. I mean, the best place would have been Turtle Time, Stassi's podcast.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that's what my wife Megan said. She said that Stassi would have been such a good person for that because Stassi knows everything. And
Totally.
that would have gone 10
Right.
times more viral, I feel like, than
Yeah.
Bethenny's.
And since Stassi's not like super close with Ariana, never really was, it's not like it happened to her true best friend or something where she couldn't be,
Yeah.
she could be a little more chill about it.
I think so too. So for Stassi's like insight on the whole thing, I felt like her reaction to Rachel saying that she brought up on camera in the scene with Tom Sandoval the consent
Yeah.
issue, which I fully believe. I believed it the first second Rachel said
Yes.
it. She brought up, why did you record me on my FaceTime without my consent to Sandoval? Sandoval said, because I wanted you to see in the future how beautiful you looked while you were masturbating in this hotel room watching porno.
Nasty.
And then when the cameras went down, he said, why did you say that? I'm going to look so bad.
Yeah.
And then he refused to film until they took that out because
Yeah.
it's potentially illegal
Yeah.
also. So Stassi said, I believe that 100%,
Mm-hmm.
which I do too. And she said that happened multiple times throughout Vanderpump Rules history where scenes were edited out that Stassi knew. And she would refuse to film with people because of the horrific things she knew that never appeared on camera.
Yeah.
And she would just look like she was not a part of certain storylines, or she
Yeah.
wasn't getting enough airtime because she would refuse to film based on things that we do not know as an
Right.
audience. And that was shocking because it's
Yeah.
like, that's why Sandoval's fall from grace for me came so out of nowhere.
Right.
I've been watching this hero edit of this guy
Yeah.
where the worst thing he ever does is he tries to get attention and will jump on poles and spin around. And I'm like, okay, that was kind of lame. Or when he was dancing with Lance Bass at the wedding, I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, he's a little bit cringe sometimes. But because they've removed essential pieces from their story throughout the years, that's why Sandoval's fall from grace looks so horrendous. It
Yeah.
looks so out of character.
Right.
For him.
Yeah. She does claim that the men always, I think Kristen, said this too. They've claimed that the men have gotten historically better edits
Yes.
and have had more pull getting stuff removed
Yes.
or whatever, which I get because it's obviously easier for them over the course of, the past 10 years to spin a narrative that Katie's a nag and like Schwartz is charming and
Yes.
whatever. Do I think that there's still truth to these outlines that they've made to a certain extent? I choose to still follow them because it's easier.
Wait, what outlines?
Like, just like that. I just don't want to have to overhaul my entire adoration of Schwartz or my dislike of Katie. I don't want to have to like dig down deep and be like, do I hate her because of misogyny? Like, I just don't want to go there. I just want to enjoy myself.
But I feel like Katie is the perfect example of why you show everything and include their entire story, because Katie was completely vilified for 5 seasons. She was like the person that almost everyone would have ranked her their least favorite cast member on Vanderpump Rules. And then now, away from Schwartz, when we saw Schwartz, how he berated her when he was drunk and how he said he was withholding sex because she disgusted him, and we saw that. And then finally, out from under his reign, she's, thriving, and I thought had the best season. Like, if Scandal hadn't happened, that would have been Katie's season 10. Like so anyway, seeing the worst of Katie and then still having her redeemed in my mind is, I don't know, I think is more essential and illuminating than having stuff withheld unless it's like illegal and they would have to be fired.
Right.
And in the show, they're like, we can't have Sandoval fired. Like,
Yeah.
it's essential.
I think that Katie came from such a low place that her like redemption and quote thriving and killing it is still at like a 6.5 for me.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm just like, all right, okay.
I understand, and I think people might not have seen the redemption that I see in Katie, but I felt like
I just like am not that Slade that she wears black.
I'm
just being brutal today. I'm just being honest. I think everyone thinks that her haircut is gonna change the whole world, and I'm like, all right, like what's next?
This was before that though. I'm talking season 10. I'm talking Satchel. I'm talking Fury and Sir Alley when she was
totally
ripping into Schwartz. Like it was like we finally saw what the horrors that Schwartz was perpetuating on their relationship, and it got to see her in a new light. And what's that called when like she looked like a nagging like wife to him for so long, and we're like, Schwartz is amazing. Why can't Katie just get on the goddamn same page as this guy? And then we see how awful he is.
Well, now that we're watching season 2, I'm not like, why can't she get on the same page as him? I'm like, why doesn't she dump him and stop trying to rebuild the wheel? Like, he's an idiot.
Because she loves him, and because he says, you're my stars and my moon, Bubba, and I would die for you. You're the love of my life. I mean,
right. I mean, we're just watching people make long-term mistakes in real time, and that's life, baby.
So I wanted to just with you speculate on like some things that I think have been taken out.
Yeah.
So clearly I felt like she was referencing the Jax in season 3, towards the end of season 3, when Stassi is almost refusing to film and be in the same room with Jax. Mm-hmm. Remember when Lisa is like, stand strong. You don't need to leave just because Jax is, coming to Sir and you're going to be like in the same room with him. They made Stassi look like she was in a new relationship and that Patrick was so, what's that called? Controlling.
Yeah.
Like that he wouldn't even let her be in the same room as her ex-boyfriend. But I think there was definitely way worse stuff going on that Jax perpetuated that was not on camera to make Stassi not want to film with him.
Yeah.
And then I think the same is for James Kennedy. I mean, if you rewatch Vanderpump Rules, I don't think Stassi ever even has one scene solo with James. He's like, they're like mortal enemies the entire time. She never found him endearing.
Yeah.
And I think that there are things that she found out about James Kennedy, which
probably from Kristen.
Yes, which are starting to like bubble to the surface now.
Yeah.
Of why Stassi is saying that we are missing context for these people.
Yeah, I think there's way more juice about her lost season, The Dark Ages. Yes. She said on here, because they were talking about the pay scale and how Raquel wanted to make as much as Ariana and Sandoval. And she was saying that would be very unlikely, if not impossible, because you get paid for how long you've been on the show. Yeah. So Sandoval is always going to make the most because he's been on since day one. And Stassi revealed something I thought was very interesting that I never thought about before, but her pay scale got like set back when she left and came back.
Totally.
So she lost her tenure.
Yeah.
And she said that she never had the energy to fight for that, which I feel like she could have gotten it, but I mean, I don't know the dynamics, but she was like, it just felt petty to me to ask for, my full however many years at that point. So she like got set back and never made as much as everyone else after that.
They try to keep pay scales so strict so that it doesn't allow people to do any maneuvering like Raquel is trying to do. They want to have
that would be a really slippery slope.
Yes. They want to have a very clear structure. This is exactly what you make if you are a lead for this many seasons, and it multiplies like this, and this is your bonus or whatever, so that exactly like what Raquel is trying to do, it just can't happen because it would cause a revolt around the cast. Imagine if Sheena found out, she's making less than Raquel. It just doesn't make any sense.
Or like again, that ruins Bethenny's argument that bad behavior is rewarded, because her whole thing was that, the more shit you get up to, the more you'll get paid, whatever. And Raquel has proven that that's not true, because they wouldn't give her more, even though she made the entire season, even though that was in retrospect. But because then there would be every new person that, you know, every new hostess at SUR would just be like committing murder to get
Totally.
the like
Yeah.
star placement.
Or just like, yeah, trying to create their own cheating scandal, you know, if they could with
Yeah.
any of the other cast members as much as they could. So
Yeah, Stassi did agree though that they could give Raquel a little bonus, a little extra percentage hike just because she's been blacklisted basically from any other sources of income.
yeah,
So if they are going to have her back on, which they're not, maybe they could incentivize it a little since she has no deals elsewhere.
yeah, I'm sure there's some loophole or way they could give her a bonus and say it is for something, you know, like some, like a performance bonus, but still adhere to whatever she'd make as a lead on another season.
Right.
So her demands will never happen, like, or will never be accepted.
Yeah.
Those two demands. It's just so I guess she's walking away. I wanted to ask you. I've sort of come around on the idea of Rachel being on season 11, like based on her the Bethenny interview. She's not as. I actually thought she could probably hang if she wanted to. I don't know how do you.
She's not
feel?
as Bambi-eyed anymore.
Yeah. I felt like there's some merit, you know, to her potentially going back on season 11. I don't know. How do you feel? Do you still feel like she would just get completely
Well,
annihilated?
I was thinking about this because Stassi was saying that she thinks that she should have gone back.
Yes.
Because, without her there, I don't know. It's kind of, the context is different. And like she was saying, now everyone just has to hang out with Sandoval all the time. And it's almost like a return to normalcy. So it's
Yes.
kind of like if Raquel was still in the mix, the elephant would remain in the room. But I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Do you think they would like completely throw her into the mix, or do you think it would just be like one-on-ones?
Well, I thought, I mean, the bridge, because when we were speculating about this, like way back in the day, it was like Sandoval and her would have scenes together. I mean, I had no idea how much Sandoval would actually end up being a part of season 11. I mean,
It's crazy.
I would have never predicted that
Yeah.
he would be in every single scene and
I
done
know.
everything with all of them.
It's kind of amazing.
So Raquel could have had that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there would have been, if Sandoval's in 90% of scenes, I bet Raquel could have managed a way to be in 50 or 60% of scenes. And I do think that, unfortunately, I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but for Raquel to have any sort of redemption in the public's eyes, I feel like it has to take place in the environment that this all stemmed from. Like, the only way she could have a redemption is if she, I think, like we've said, this won back the cast even in a small way, and we would see growth through their eyes as well. Because I don't think on her own, as an independent public figure with no attachment to the cast, she can ever come back.
Yeah.
And at least she would have had a chance.
Right. I feel like Girl Code could have saved her
Yes.
if she could have played up this, first of all, he, recorded me without my consent. He
Yes.
sort of like groomed me over time. I was vulnerable, blah, 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 like take accountability, but basically blame it all on Sandoval and make, the most galaxy brain accepting, loving version would be Ariana saying he did all that same stuff to me 10 years ago. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's going to keep happening forever. So I forgive you specifically. She won't, but Sandoval is the devil here,
Yeah, and it could happen, and that would have been a great way to do it, for sure. And I think that she would have had some sympathy from Lala, and I think
Sheena,
the
other woman crew.
Yes, Sheena would have had to see some parallels in this story, once she's a little more removed from, the actual
Maybe they
drama.
could all three start a podcast called The Other Women.
Lala, Sheena,
and Raquel.
and
Rachel.
I'm sorry. I keep just switching to whatever she calls herself, and so, that would be. I don't. Yeah, that could possibly happen. I mean, it'd be better than the podcast I think that she is going to do on her own.
I liked when Stassi was like,
yes,
her voice literally shakes just in a normal conversation. How is she going to have an audio podcast?
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome.
She was like, good luck to her.
Yeah. So anything else from that Stassi interview? I mean, I just liked,
it was
her
good.
perspective.
I don't really understand what her podcast is generally because I've only listened to it around these specific topics because she was like, it's pop culture hour. Does she not always talk about pop culture?
No. So sometimes she has a guest like Bo, or sometimes she has someone, I think, who's like promoting a book or a conversation with like, someone, a specific thing she wants to delve into, subject based.
Okay.
And then I think pop culture hour. I mean, if I'm wrong, that sucks because I've only also listened to like 5 of these.
No,
But
it
then
seemed
Pop
like
Culture
that
Hour
was
is like
specific. Yeah.
that's when she just does the roundup of like the biggest stories, and so
Got
that's
it.
why we got to hear some Vanderpump stuff.
Yeah, that's more interesting to me personally.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, that was interesting. You know what you should do one day as a TikTok? I don't want to do the work, so you should do it.
Sure.
You should get a whiteboard or a yarn wall, and you should play producer of what a season with Raquel would look like.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Like an exercise of saying, okay, so it opens up. We want to establish X, Y, and Z. Something about her's doing this.
well, should
Schwartz
I
and
should I
Sands
do it
is doing
from
this.
now if she came in now, or should it be all hypothetical, like she's always been involved in the season? Because I feel like it'd be more worthwhile to strategically try to plot it out now.
Okay,
If-
inserting her after what we've already seen.
Yes.
Okay, like post Tahoe.
Yes, like Schwartz just dyed his hair blonde, and then in the next scene he's blonde, and then Rachel is showing up to an event or whatever. Like I think we
Okay,
should.
yeah, plot out her
No, that's good.
entrance.
Yes.
But figure out how you want to do it. Like, is there a party that she shows up at, or is it like she gets dinner with Sheena, like low key? You know what I mean?
Schwartz has an "I'm blonde now" party, a blonde party at Schwartz and Sandy's where everyone wears blonde wigs and they show their blonde identities.
Does Lisa come?
Lisa comes and wears a blonde wig for sure. And then because Schwartz is the only one, potentially, as I'm thinking about it now, that could reasonably extend an invite to Rachel. I mean, that's happened all throughout his past. He's always been sympathetic to the underdog. He could do this. So that's the first party that she could, accept an invite to. She shows up in a blonde wig. She says, I don't know if you heard, but I'm Rachel now. And she's got the blonde wig that is also like a switch of identity. So it's a perfect place to, to launch the Rachel persona. Because she's wearing a blonde wig now. Everyone's wearing blonde wigs. Maybe she comes in when everybody's a little drunk. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Like, the call time is separate.
I assume Ariana wouldn't want to go there. Or you think she would?
Ariana would have already probably passed on this invite.
Okay.
But Sheena's going, Lala's going. They all want that bonus that encourages all the events that you go to or whatever.
Yeah.
Then once Rachel asks to talk to, I honestly think even James would let Rachel have a heart-to-heart with him.
Yeah.
I don't feel like at the end of everything he was just like, I'm never speaking to this person again.
Yeah. I feel like he felt kind of bad for her.
I think he did too. There was that one scene in season 10 was kind of underrated when Lala was like really still ragging on Rachel.
Yeah.
And James was like, okay, I think she's had enough now. Like, I think we can kind of take it easy, which I thought was very sweet of
That
him.
was when she, for the first time, was like, I think he has a little crush. Like, Sandoval has a little crush.
Yeah.
It was like the first time someone said it out loud.
Yes.
But it wasn't confirmed.
Right. Which, I mean, she was right.
I know.
But still, I liked that James was still sympathetic, even to his ex-girlfriend who's doing all this, stuff around him and trying to get his attention or whatever. I thought that was nice. So, well, I think we should talk about how Rachel could come back. I mean, we just said like a scene where she could, but if she's listening, which I know there's this, maybe let's isolate this clip if it ends up being good.
Okay.
How Rachel could come back. First of all, Rachel, I'm so sorry, but you have to remove those demands. What are those called? Those hard demands? Like,
Yeah.
she has to say, no, I'm sorry, I understand. I can't get what Tom and Ariana are making. And unfortunately, they can't admit culpability in the mental health facility payments. But the way you pay that back is by appearing on this season and potentially the next season. Like you
Right.
need,
It's her only chance at salvation. And if it doesn't work, then she's just where she is now.
yeah, and maybe this season, I mean, if she made 361 last year and she gets a 10% bonus or whatever for appearing in another season, she could pay back. But I just think those demands are egregious and they'll never accept them. So if she can drop those, what else does she need? I mean, those were the two things, and it seemed like she was like ready to film.
Do you think that friend of is just like not even worth your while? Like, is it like $1,000?
I bet friend ofs get paid like the minimum, the minimum. Like
Yeah.
a SAG, it's not SAG, but it's like the scale minimum for the day, like $900
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah. So I was gonna say that could be like a nice time restraints or demand wise. It would be nice for her to not have to be as involved, but it's like not worth it if you're,
Yeah. But I mean, how could she come in as a friend of? Who would be
Whose
the person
friend?
who says, yeah, this is my friend I'm introducing? I mean, I think
it's
she
gonna
would
be like friend of Lisa.
friend of, Lisa's friend. I mean, I think there is,
Sandoval.
yeah, there is a way that she could have come back. I just think, she is not strategic. I think we can all
No.
agree she's not strategic. But if she got rid of those demands, she kind of seems like she doesn't want to associate with Sandoval at all, and obviously that would have been the logical person to bring her back in. So
Yeah.
I do think what you said is that if she wanted to reach out in a genuine way to Lala first, I mean, who are the people that have had to like come back into the fold and like really had to, like Kristen had to do this when Kristen was like, everyone hated Kristen after season 2, and she just had to like organically become friends again. Like there is a precedent for
Totally.
this. Stassi had to do this too.
Yeah. James
Totally had to do this. So I think Raquel needs to look at those blueprints. She needs to reach out to someone who is potentially sympathetic to her. I mean, we heard at Stassi's show that Katie would not refuse to film with Rachel.
Yeah.
If Rachel wanted to like call up Katie, I don't know why she could have called up Katie and just said, the Schwartz thing that I did was the reaction or whatever is like, I was in a horrible state, as you can tell from watching those scenes. I was drunk all the time. I was in love with Sandoval, or I thought I was. And so all of this Schwartz stuff was such bullshit, and I wasn't compassionate to you at all because I barely actually cared about that shit that was going on. I thought that was a storyline, and I was like perpetuating being a villain of a storyline when I should have been compassionate to you. Katie might be receptive to that, possibly.
Right. I mean, how loyal do we think Katie is to Ariana? Like, that would be an interesting test.
Well, one thing that I think we've never talked about, and it's like sort of dicey, but I think we should, is that I think just human nature, I do think there has to be a little bit of inherent jealousy among the cast members at sort of am I speaking out of school, or do you think that this?
No, I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I think that
At Ariana's glory.
yeah, I mean, well, okay, they all are in glory. They all were basked with glory. She
Yeah.
is in glory. She's bathed in glory. Lala is bathed in send it Daryl cash
Oh, yeah.
in glory. But no one has benefited more and become the face of a pop culture like historical moment than Ariana,
Yeah.
So maybe there could potentially be a little bit of jealousy towards how much Ariana's profited off that. We'll see in season 11. And I also, though, I think that would be natural and normal, even if you wouldn't ever say it, to just feel a little jealous. But that might not be the case at all. I could also imagine a world where Lala is loving life and proud
I feel
of Ariana.
I don't think Lala is jealous because she's good at this. So she has made
Yes.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
She's profited. She acts fast. If there's one thing I'll give her props for, she's good at being online,
Yeah.
putting stuff up for sale quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Her quips, her personality, her podcast, like she's got her bag.
Yeah.
So I don't think she would care as much. If anything, I feel like it seems like in a way Lala's more happy to be in the background
Yes.
a little bit. Like
Yes.
she's like, I actually would love for my personal drama to not be on the show.
Yes.
And she almost kind of feels like a friend of,
Yes.
like she's a supporting role because her divorce and custody she can't talk about. So 80% of what her day-to-day life is she can't even talk about.
Yeah, Lala has always felt to me removed from the cast almost.
Yeah.
Like the like James has become integral to the cast and feels like an organic friend, but Lala has always felt just a little bit removed from everything.
And I think she does that on purpose.
Yeah.
So I feel like she is actually happy to be not second fiddle, but like background, but she's still making probably as much or not as much as Ariana because she's making millions. But like Katie, again, I'm not here to shit on Katie. I'm just saying Katie could never. Like, she's not. They made those something about her sweatshirts, but that was a joint effort based off of Ariana's glory. I'm just saying, like, Katie as a scorned woman is not profiting. She's not putting it all together.
Yes. Okay.
I don't think.
I'll grant. Yeah. I'll
Whereas
grant you
like
that.
Sheena also is in her bag. She
Oh,
has
yeah.
so many irons in the fire at all times. She's like the profit queen. She's doing ads on our podcast. She has
yeah.
her own podcast. She's got merch. She's got singles.
Yes.
She's got like, she's busy.
Yes.
Okay. Whereas, and I'm not, again, it's a kind of, it's funny that, that clip is going around of Kourtney Kardashian saying she doesn't know who Katie Maloney is, because actually, Katie has Kourtney Kardashian vibes. She's the least motivated Kardashian.
Wow.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Which is fine. Maybe you don't want to do that. Not everyone has to be wheeling and dealing. I'm just saying if we're talking about, so I could see her the way Kourtney resents Kim
Yeah.
for being a profiteer. Maybe Katie does get a little irked, except that she's in business with her. So that's great.
Right. So she gets a little like Ariana runoff.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, I and like I said, like I felt like season 10 would have been Katie's redemption season, and she was sort of the star of it until Scandal happened and just completely overshadowed the breakdown of Tom and Katie's marriage. So maybe
Right.
there, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, remember when they, in the Secrets Revealed or whatever, they showed that clip of Katie and Schwartz in their house in different
Yes.
bedrooms? It was actually so sad, and
Yeah.
it literally made me cry. And I was like, that sucks that they cut this, because it was a huge, it gave so much, honesty to their
yes.
situation.
Yeah. It was like, what? Well, you guys didn't want to include this. He goes in the room and he goes, I was going to order sushi. Do you want any? And then he just starts breaking down crying. 'cause
And
they're
she's
still
like,
living
this is
together.
why I need to move.
Yeah. I mean, their whole arc, that whole thing just got derailed.
Squashed, yeah.
Squashed from Scandival, which,
Yeah.
you know,
And then him crying when they found the tea towel unpacking
Yeah.
Jeremy's apartment.
yes. Yeah. That, a lot of that got sidelined, that whole
Right.
story for Katie. But,
Which to me, I'm just being a bitch today, but I feel like the producers are like, if we're going to cut anything, it's going to be that. Like, cut, clip.
Yeah. But they didn't know Scandival had happened, and they didn't change any of the editing, right, until the final episode.
That's what they say.
So they say, right, because then what are you making room for? What did you think, what was happening that you were having to, cut scenes about, like, a major divorce that was happening this
Yeah.
season? What were they making room for? I don't
Right.
even...
I mean, I will say, like, whatever, misogyny aside, can we live in that world for a minute? If you are building out a future of a show that bad behavior needs to continue, where we do not want to watch a unapologetically feminine sandwich shop running successfully with no drama,
Uh-huh.
you're going to put your coins down on the man-child who's going to make bad decisions forever and who will date his roommate, ? Who has been called a creep and a psycho, who is going to probably hook up with girls at the restaurant all the time, who's going to dye his hair blonde randomly, who's going to probably stay connected to his business partner who's a pariah, who is going to
Right.
go on Stars on Mars. Like, he is going to generate more moving forward because he hasn't changed at all.
Right.
Whereas, we'll see what this Valley spinoff is or whatever, how they try and film something about her or whatever. I just feel like being grown or, I mean, I know that Katie tried to do, I know you love Satchel, but she tried to do her hot and sexy single era. And for me, I wasn't interested.
What? What are you talking about?
When she wet the bed or whatever she said about
No.
Satchel.
No, I think that was Lala on the Dawn.
No, Katie tried to take a tip from her book. She said, I had to wash my sheets. Remember?
Katie said that?
Lala's birthday that Rachel crashed.
Wait, so they were both destroying rooms?
I think Katie was like, I need to write that down. We're talking about squirting.
You're telling me that
Remember,
Katie...
she said something to the degree of like, sorry, I was late. I had to change the sheets. And everyone was just like, ugh. And I'm like, did you shit the bed? Like, what is happening?
I didn't remember. I guess I just blocked that one out completely. I just remember Lala saying
it was a little bit of an aside, but I remember Lala was like, love that for you.
Yeah.
And Satchel just sat there like, hee.
Yes, like she did. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, in response to that, there is a world where we get to see both. We get to see blonde hair Schwartz. We get to see him living with Joe and potentially, I don't know, dating her or doing whatever. And then we also get a nice little peek at a sandwich shop. But
Yeah.
Are you saying that overall producers are probably going to spotlight next season on that avenue, the Schwartz and Sandoval, like the antics versus...
I mean, maybe they will put all their eggs in the sandwich basket. I just hope they don't. Although, you know what could be great?
What?
They offer Rachel a sandwich artist role. Woman to woman.
How would... But why would Ariana want that right now?
Maybe she's just like, you know what? I see what he did to you. I know you can't get a job anywhere. So here's an apron and a visor. And you need to learn how to make the Green Goddess vegan sandwich.
And they put her in that fuck me in this t-shirt.
Yeah.
So she's like a part of that now.
Like they're kind of doing it passive aggressively. Like, I was going to do a Sex and the City reference.
You can.
Remember, so Carrie cheats on Aiden with Big.
Carrie cheats on Aiden with Big. Yeah, I don't remember that, but you can but go ahead.
Okay. So then she admits it. He finds out. They break up. It's really bad. And then like a season later, they get back together. He takes her back, but he's being an asshole to her.
Oh.
Like there's the scene when he puts on a nicotine patch for her because he demands that she quit smoking. And when he puts it on, he slaps it on her back. And you're like, ah. And then she has a whole breakdown about how he needs to forgive her. I could see something where Ariana says that she's forgiving and giving Rachel a chance, but keeps being really mean.
Yeah.
Underneath.
Yes. So I guess, we're talking about this Rachel arc that could have happened. That still can happen. If she listens to this right now, we're giving you, this is stuff to listen to. I think if Rachel told Ariana that every single thing she heard from Tom Sandoval is what she used in her decision to make love to him for 7 months, that he said you're a brand. He said that you never try. He said that you are in a sexless relationship and roommates or whatever. And that's all she had. And then I know that Ariana would say, well, what the hell? I was telling you what was going on, whatever.
Right.
But she has the a little bit of plausible deniability that she got all of her information from Sandoval.
Yeah.
I think definitely, like you said, painting him as just the ultimate villain, because Sandoval is going to squeak out some redemption no matter how hard he tries. If he has to be here until season 15, he is going to get
Vanderpump Drools.
He is going to get people back on his side no matter what he can do.
Yeah.
He's just that.
He's not, I'm not
shameless?
giving him. Yeah, shameless. And I don't want to say good at it, but
charming.
Seasoned.
Seasoned. Seasoned. I mean, so if she said she was not a victim, but if she said that she was misled by Sandoval, which everyone would believe.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone would believe that. I think Ariana's hatred level towards Raquel, if it was at 100, like she wanted to murder her, is probably at a 20 or 25.
That low?
Okay. I'll go up.
I thought you were going to go to 70.
No. I don't think she still has that much hatred.
You think she's already at a 70 currently?
Now?
Yeah.
No, I think she's down. I feel like you said last week, we were what did you call when we were in the thick of Scandival? We were a hive mind. We were a
the
mob.
mob.
We had
pitchforks.
We had pitchforks and signs, and we were ready to raise hell all over Earth until we got Ariana vindicated. Now that it's cooled down, even though Bethenny stoked it a little bit more, now they're cooled down. I don't think Ariana, if she heard this, I think she would be receptive to a sit down. I think she knows Tom Sandoval is the villain in this.
I know. Oh my gosh, just thinking about it now, I don't want to make Ariana go through hell, but how good would a sit down be?
Between Rachel and Ariana?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, amazing. I mean,
If
it would.
Ariana would have to like mentally prepare, and the thing that sucks is that since she's still living in the same house, it's all so nasty still.
Yes.
That they need to move on, and then after that, once she's settled in her new life, then it could be interesting. But she would really have to like be mentally and spiritually prepared so that it could be a constructive conversation.
I mean, it's sort of like a look at my life and look at yours.
Yeah.
Like Brandy to Sheena.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Brandy was just so. Brandy's attitude is how Ariana could be. She was just like, I don't give a fuck about this anymore. Look at your life. Look where I'm at. I love myself. You did what you did, and yeah, we can be in the same place now. Like I feel like that's sort of a blueprint for how.
Where she's still just so mean to Sheena and is like, what's wrong with your tooth?
But Brandy is inherently meaner than Ariana.
Yeah.
So
that's
that
true.
she was always going to get that.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking that just to your point about like how good would that be if you were writing season 11, if season 11 was a fictional show, you would have definitely included sit downs with all of the principals of Scandival at some point meeting.
Yeah.
So I think Rachel, when you listen to this, and I'll send it to you, she's probably, her DMs are probably open.
Yeah.
So I think you have to, don't consider yourself like weak for backing down on those two sticking points in the deal that you want. No one would get that. No one in the world. Even Stassi just said, no one gets that. Listen to Stassi.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay for your mental health facility because they can't be liable for it, but you can get paid back. You could, like, who knows what could happen? This cast is so ripe for redemption arcs. It's happened a million times before.
Yeah.
Watch Lala's blueprint. When everyone hated Lala, Lala is now one of the top 7. Like,
Yeah.
they love her. Everyone loves Lala. I mean, for the most part, Lala had to scrape her way there. Sheena too. So you could do it. Just watch Vanderpump Rules, take notes, and then Amy and I are here to coach you whenever you want to call us.
Yeah.
And I'll give you my phone number.
A hotline.
A hotline. I have so many tips. We could strategize. That blonde party
Tip
was
line?
just
Yeah.
blonde party was just on the top of our goddamn heads.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe everything will change and they will give Sandoval a producer credit like he claimed, and he can hire Rachel.
Yeah. Well, I think just like how Stassi said, if they would revolt, if someone got a raise,
Yeah.
I just think that that's a condition they can never let happen.
No. I mean, I was so glad when she basically reacted exactly how I reacted, where I
Yes.
was like, I've never heard a bigger joke in my life.
No, you're
like,
right.
That's so stupid.
No, you were right. I was like, I thought there was some credence to it, and no, you're right.
There's just no way. Like, it just doesn't make sense that they would reward him that way, that they would give him any power over the other cast. Like, they still have to manage all those other cast members, so it would put them in a horrible position. It's perfectly exactly right that I bet you he asked for that. He told Rachel, he bragged about that it was a possibility, and she was impressed and took it as fact, when I've never heard bigger bullshit in my life. Like,
Yes.
It's such a thing that Jax would say.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, Jax and Sandoval have that same thing where you're just like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
Jax will be like, yeah, like LVP said that like I'm the best bartender she ever had, and that she actually wants me to buy Pump. Like, he would say something
and you'd be-
insane like that, and you'd be like, what? He'd be like, Andy asked me to create a new show because he needed advice. He didn't know what he was doing. Like, he just like says shit that you're like, there's no world in which that's true at all.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And it's kind of shocking to imagine that Sandoval, where he was in those months after Sandoval, that he's telling
God.
Rachel that he's ultimately going to be a producer on this season.
He weighs like 130 pounds. He's all like tweaked out. He's like, they said they're going to make me an EP. He's like ripping cigs and drinking Diet Squirt. Like,
yeah. Good.
oh my God. Okay. Well, that is an exciting little thought experiment. If you guys have ideas on how they could introduce her or fun scene ideas, comment them. I want to have, maybe we can do choose your own adventure.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, let's figure out, because I think ultimately I guess some people don't want, Rachel back.
I know. I get kind of scared when we talk about this topic because it's so divisive.
Right.
Like some people thought we were too soft on Rachel in our review of the Bethenny pod, even though I feel like
Who said that?
I saw some comments.
Oh no. Oh no.
But like, whatever. But that's why I like that we're further away from the reunion mob era, because now everyone's opinions can kind of settle and we can see it for the many colors it is.
Yes.
It's not black and white.
Yes. Yeah, we got a little red in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, really quick, like, because we are talking a little bit, and that was really fun. But speaking of Sandoval, post Scandoval, going through some things and saying he's a producer, he also really quickly went on Special Forces World's Toughest Test, which I had never heard of before.
When does that come out?
I think it's very soon. The trailer came out like maybe October 31st.
Oh, Halloween?
Yeah, I think it's going to come out.
Scary.
Yeah, I know. So I guess they have to do military training, like as if they were joining Special Forces.
Yeah.
And I guess there's not that much to say except that the one little clip, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Where he's so performative in it. He's in an interrogation room with like Special Forces people, and he goes, "I want to be punished." Or what does he say?
He says, "I had an affair and I want to be punished for it."
And then
or
the next thing
like
it goes like black and white, and then he's in a fight with somebody, and he's either getting punched in the face or he's punching.
And then the next clip is he has blood all over his face.
Yeah. You're like, what? Oh my, I don't know. It just seems very surreal.
Now I kind of feel like I have to watch it. Do you think, is it the kind of thing where you get eliminated?
I think
assume,
so.
right?
I think as you have to ultimately become the toughest person like in the world from that training. And I don't know how long.
Oh my God. I just remembered that Ariana's doing Dancing with the Stars.
I know.
I keep forgetting that.
I think it's sort of, it kind of affects negatively my impression of Bravo shows, which I kind of feel are sacred and they should only exist in the Bravo universe.
I feel like it didn't used to be like this. There's been a breach.
Yeah, there's a breach, like a total breach where things are slithering through. The worst example is that Heroes and Villains show that Jax is on E! Or whatever. I'm like, it's like who's the guy, the Rock of Love cast? What's her, New York? No. Not
Flavor Flav.
It's like villains from all of of every reality show in the world. And I just think that it sort of cheapens the Bravo brand to see them in another.
Yeah, they should have a non-compete. What the hell?
Well, Jax obviously doesn't. But
Right.
Tom Sandoval and Schwartz, why were they like, I mean.
I know, especially because Fox
is a rival.
Yeah. It would make sense if it was NBC, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that Heroes and Villains show looks like so bad to me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but maybe World's Toughest Test will secretly be really good.
I hope that he doesn't make it to the end because I feel like I'm going to have to watch it, but I only want to watch maximum 3 episodes.
Yeah, I think his arc will be pretty contained.
Maybe JoJo Siwa will win.
I know. And then that's the show, remember we were talking about earlier, where he snuck in framed photos of Raquel and he was using them to give him strength.
Do you think that was like a planted story?
Yeah, because it was Nick Viall, right?
Maybe someone got to him.
And Nick Viall is also on it.
Yeah.
So he went from like commenting on Scandoval and like only interviewing people on Vanderpump Rules for like 2 months, and then he had to go confront Sandoval in this World's
Maybe
Toughest
he's the one
Test.
that punched him.
Do you think?
Maybe
Because he was so pissed.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that'll be. I mean, we'll probably see some clips or we'll talk about that if it's entertaining. But I didn't watch Schwartz on Mars
Me neither.
because I just like no one talked about it after that first week.
Yeah.
It didn't ever get in the public consciousness after like those first couple episodes.
Yeah,
And
I feel like the clips we saw on TikTok and stuff were probably enough.
Yeah. So, I think stay in the Bravo universe because Bravo knows how to represent you the best way. And in such a, for the most part,
Not according to Bethenny.
no, Bethenny thinks Bravo is the worst, or whatever, like environment to show you. But I think Bravo has a sheen to it that really casts people in a beautiful light. And when you go on Heroes and Villains and all this other garbage, you kind of, it affects
Tarnished.
you tarnish that beautiful sheen.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh. I don't think you were in your Bravo era yet at this time, but were you ever watching when they did those Summer by Bravo ads?
No.
Oh my gosh.
What is it?
I need to pull these up for you. Over the course of like, I guess it was probably maybe 10 years ago ish, and maybe a little longer after that, but Bravo would do these fun ads called Summer by Bravo, and it would be like everybody, all the talent together. And like, I remember one of them was like Olympics themed, and it would be like Nene and Andy and like everybody playing. One of them was to the tune of Britney Spears, the like I wanna go, oh, oh. And there'd be like all these little tableaus of like funny sort of like, like Jeff Lewis like being a jerk and like just like funny stuff going on. And it was just like a brand promo.
Oh.
And because remember on Bravo it used to always be like it would be like, I don't know, the interstitials would be like fun by Bravo, or it'd be like party by Bravo. Like it would be like different words. And then this one was Summer by Bravo, and they were summer themed brand promos. And they were, sometimes you'll see TikToks of people being like, society hasn't been the same since the Summer by Bravo ads. I'll find them for you. It's really nostalgic.
Okay. Wow. I love the idea of that. Summer by Bravo, and it would show all of the cast members from different franchises partying together and doing
it'd be
summer.
like fun little scenarios.
Was it before Summer House?
Yes.
So so they never got to.
They
take
should
part
bring it
in-
back. I keep waiting for them to bring it back.
I kind of like the Fun by Bravo and
Yeah.
Party by Bravo.
Maybe I'll post it on the Patreon page, any of the ones I can find, but they're just very fun.
Cool. Okay, good. Well, did we talk about every little thing that we wanted to talk about? I mean, Stassi, Rachel, Tom, the toughest man.
Yes.
And that was it.
Yeah.
1 hour is I think a good amount of time to spend on those various subjects. And then why don't we take a quick break
Sure.
and come back, and then we're going to talk about Atlanta, New York. Well, not in this order, sorry. New York, OC,
Yes.
and Atlanta. And I'll say as a little teaser to keep you all during the break, I liked every episode of this.
All three?
All three.
Yeah.
This week was three for me. So stay tuned after the break because I am not going to hate on RHONY as much as I normally do. And yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm excited. No,
Did you-
I saw online somewhere you called it a 7 out of 10, which for you, for RHONY, new RHONY is really good.
That's like a 10 out of 10 in any normal environment. Yeah, I thought it was good. Did you think it was 3, 4, 3?
Yeah.
All decently good?
I feel like I always defer to you. I'm like, what did you think?
Well, I think,
But yeah, I enjoyed them all.
RHONY was better than it's. We can take a break, but I just want to say RHONY was better than I thought, that I've come to expect for a while. OC had a lot of merit. There was some weird stuff going on.
Totally.
OC was like,
We need to get into it.
yeah. And then Atlanta, I was like,
Yes.
Atlanta is underrated at this point because people are dogging on this
Yeah, people
season.
really think it's terrible.
They're like, this is the worst season I've ever seen in my life. Kenya called it the worst season she's ever
She
been a part
did?
of. Yes. People hate it. And I'm like, have you guys seen Salt Lake City season 2 or new RHONY? I mean, Bravo can be so much worse. Atlanta is good. Like, so anyway, that's my teaser. Stay with us. But also, I don't mind if you just wanted to listen to the first part and you left, but
Okay.
we're going to take a break.
I'm
And
hoping you guys are about to hear an ad by Sheena.
yeah, if we get the Sheena ad, I swear the next hour of our conversation is pure gold. If we get any other ad, it's shit.
Yeah. Roll the dice.
Okay. We're back.
Hello.
What ad do you think it was?
I'm rolling on a Sheena.
I have to hope that it was Sheena talking about Factor meals.
Meals, yeah.
Have you ever eaten one?
No. Have
Me
you?
either. Not even
You
close.
should send us some.
Sheena?
Yeah.
I would. I would love that. First of all, I would love to have a free meal.
Yes.
Second of all, I would love to know what is always being sponsored on our podcast.
Yeah.
Also, if we ate it live here, like if I put in the oven here when we got here and we had a little what's that, like a serving tray,
Yeah.
and you and I tried Factor meals, the opportunity for a potential sponsored read would
Yeah.
go up phenomenally.
Just the sounds of our chewing.
Imagine us logistically trying to eat a
I'm
hot
picturing like a meatloaf.
Do you think how often do you think Sheena's eating Factor meals almost once every day?
I mean, she's looking good.
What are they?
I have no idea.
I mean, they're
I'm
like
picturing like kid cuisine.
me too, but like a good kid or lean cuisine, but it's actually healthy.
Did you like kid cuisine?
I don't think I had it very often. Did you?
I was all about it.
What is it? Like a little lean cuisine?
Yeah. It
But
would
like
be
mac
like
and cheese.
nuggets, mac and cheese, corn. Sometimes it would be like corn in one and then like chocolate pudding in the next. And sometimes I'd be a little sicko and I'd mix them.
Mix. Wait. Did you say mix corn and chocolate pudding?
I was a little psychopath.
Would people ever see it and say, "What are you doing?"
I was raised in a cave no one ever saw.
Wow, so you never were caught doing that.
My mom would just, like in prison, just slide the kid cuisine under the door and I'd be like,
And she would never know when you slid it back out. It was all
she didn't
eaten.
know my behavior.
She would have never known in what order in which.
It's all clawed. It's like crumpled.
She hears like banging and scraping and scratching, and then all of a sudden the kid cuisine meal immediately gets shoved out.
It's like ripped.
Wait, that's like Jurassic Park. That's
Yeah.
like the Velociraptor when they put the cow in there.
I was just like watching I Love Lucy in a room, like clawing a kid cuisine.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm not saying this is you, but this call to mind, Goonies. You know how Sloth
God.
is.
Hey, you guys.
Sloth is, before the kids come meet him, he's living
It's
a-
really sad.
Sloth. I rewatched.
He's
Goonies.
abused.
Of course, he's abused. Can you
He's
believe?
chained.
Can you believe there's a character in fiction in the world in the imagination of the world of a character named Sloth that is this man that was
Tragic.
and he's watching I Love Lucy.
He is?
And yes, and he's going. Actually, I think he watches old films like Casablanca
Okay.
and like
No, they
Vertigo.
they treat him like absolute dog shit.
And what's his name? Chunk is so scared of him because in that context he looks like a monster.
But then they bond over the baby Ruth.
It's one of the
I
most,
also watched it recently.
isn't it? It's
I've
way-
always loved it, but
No, I always loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
But I was like, is this going to be one of those things that I loved as a kid that's complete dog shit now? Goonies is so...
it's so sweet.
It's a beautiful film. It's like a little, like, kids Indiana Jones,
Yes.
where it's like every imagination thing you had as a kid that you would just play around
The
with.
technology,
Yes.
the
Oh,
slick shoes.
Data.
Yeah.
Right? Data is so cool. I love the wishing well scene where he's like, this wish is mine. And they're like crying and they're at the bottom of the wishing well. You remember that part?
It's so good.
And then all the Chester or Wet
Copper
Willie.
Pot.
Yeah, Chester
Copper
Pot,
Pot,
Wet Willie,
One-Eyed Willie.
One-Eyed Willie the Bandit. I'm just like, man, this movie totally rips.
No, I love it.
But you weren't like that when you would get a kid cuisine, right?
Well, I think I was chained underneath a defunct beachside restaurant.
Oh, and it's Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah,
And
Joey Pants.
Joey Pants and that mom, which I think is a really good actor, and that Italian singing brother. Who
Yes.
He speaks in Italian. to us. And then Sloth is their brother.
Yeah.
Sloth is their brother that they
They
sort of
like, it's so dark
that part.
the way they treat him.
Yeah.
But also, okay, so the brother, one of them is in jail and then they get him out. That's the opening, right?
Yeah, which
He
brother was
pretends
in
to
jail?
hang himself, the Italiano. He pretends to hang himself, which is like a dark way to open a kid's movie.
Totally. And then it's also early Josh Brolin.
Oh my God, hot.
You thought so? He's the older brother, and I love that the way that when the jocks are the girls, love those jocks, but then they kick him to the curb and start going with the Goonie boys.
Yeah.
And then Josh Brolin also starts going with his brother.
Yeah.
I love the camaraderie between that group.
Martha Plimpton.
Is that who?
She's the friend.
Oh yeah.
That
What's his name? That Squirts kisses.
Yeah.
Is that
Squirts?
Squirts. Mouth.
Yeah.
Mouth.
That's what's his name? Famously
Corey.
Feldman.
Yeah, he's good in that movie.
He is good.
And the main boy is very good.
Yeah. From your Lord of the Rings fame.
No. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's Sean Astin.
Yes.
Oh my God, Sean Astin is so good in that movie.
He's super sweet.
I forgot that was Sean Astin.
Yeah, he's so cute.
Oh my God.
I also
Goonies?
always picture, I know it's not her, but I feel like the main girl is giving Jenny Lewis vibes, but it's not her.
Wait, is the main boy Sean Astin?
Yeah, right?
Well, because Sean Astin was Rudy, and he was like 18 when he was Rudy, and then Rudy feels like such an older movie than Goonies, but maybe I'm just...
Yeah, it's him.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Whoa, he is like... Goonies, Rudy...
And as we know, Oscar winner Kihei Kwan is Dada.
Oh.
And current day, Jeff Cohen Chunk is his lawyer.
Jeff Cohen Chunk is a lawyer now.
Yes.
An entertainment lawyer?
Yes.
And he doesn't want to act anymore?
No, but one of his clients is Data.
If we ever make a feature film like we talked about, would you ever want to get Chunk involved?
I'd love it.
Does he look kind of cool?
Yeah, he looks good. But yeah, he got thanked in his Oscar speech.
He did?
Yeah.
He said, "My lawyer."
You can barely tell it's him. He's
What
fit as
the
a fiddle.
Oh my God. We have to write a movie and make him one of the cast members to resurrect his career if he wants it.
Yeah.
His acting career.
Yeah, I watched Goonies like 2 months ago or something like that. And at the end, when Chunk asks Sloth to come live with him, he's like, "You're my family now." I cried.
You're going to live with me now.
It's so cute.
Yeah, it just gave me chills
because
a little bit.
Sloth, he throws his real family to the curb in favor of the Goonies.
Yes.
So they better give him a place to live.
Totally. Yeah, he fully betrays his family who, they were pretty horrible to him.
Don't they imply that he was made that way, not through physical abuse, but that as an infant he was physically abused? I'm not laughing.
So.
It's so messed up.
That's awful. You know who's good is that mom. I've
Yeah,
never seen her
she's
in anything.
scary.
She's wearing that beret the whole time. And she's like, "My two knucklehead boys, get it together." She's really good.
Yeah, they're really freaking frack, those sons.
Those sons. Yeah, it's so good. I was going to say something else, but I forget completely. I was just in the thrall of Goonies. I can't believe you watched it 2 months ago. I watched it like 6 months ago too, and I was just like, damn, this holds up.
Yeah.
Chris Columbus.
Ugh, he's great.
He was supposed to be like the next Spielberg.
Mm-hmm. Well, Spielberg produced it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Anyway, well.
I showed it to Jimmy because I grew up watching it like a lot. Like I've seen it like 100 times.
Yeah.
And he didn't grow up that way. A lot of my sister's 9 years older, so I have more 80s children knowledge because I got like the runoff.
Oh, because you're not like me, an 85.
I'm an 88.
So you barely even touched the 80s.
Yeah, but I had all of her,
That's
VHSs
nice.
and stuff. So
Goonies was like early, like 80.
Yeah. That early?
No, I don't know. 85. I
It
don't
might
know.
be like 85.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's a good film, and it makes sense why we spoke about it.
Totally. Hold on, now I need to know what year it is. It'll kill
You're
me.
probably right. 87.
85. I was right.
That's my birth year.
So you're a true Goonie.
So Goonies is 37 years old. Oh my God, if they would have asked me to be in the Goonies, I would have said yes. Would you have?
Yeah. Wait, when I looked it up, I just saw there was a Goonies 2 slated for 2027. Do you think it's real?
Goonies.
It says it's in development.
Goonies 2. I think there's so many films in development that we'll never see.
Yeah.
Goonies 2.
Yeah.
The Legend of Chester Copperpot. Goonies 2. I don't know. I'd be a little worried. I think it's
Let's
sacred.
go opening night.
Okay. Goonies, to see Goonies 2?
Yeah.
And review it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
One quick thing I did want to say before we talk about RHONY is
Yeah.
that I watched. Did you see the Atlanta reunion trailer that just came out like 10
No.
minutes before? Okay, it was kind of good, but mostly it was notable because you remember that clip that we saw where Andy said, "I just had the most shadiest artifact in the world presented to me." Do you remember when we watched that clip?
Yes.
And he was like, the shadiest piece of memorabilia or whatever
Yeah.
he said was just presented to me at the Atlanta reunion. Well, I think this trailer shows what it is. Sheree created a newsletter called She News, a color like pamphlet of like 6 pages called She News, and I think it has
The Bone Collector.
Yes, I think it has all the bones she's collected through the season, all the truth about everything. It's like Sheree's version of events, and she passes it out to all the cast member.
What?
It's called She News.
How long did that take her?
I mean, a long time. And also, can I spoil one last thing?
Yeah.
Because it's in the trailer. She goes, "Drew, since you said you didn't get any She by Sheree merchandise at the last reunion, here's a bag for you, honey." And she just hands her a She by Sheree bag.
Whoa.
Sheree
Oh,
came
shit.
to play
I'm
this reunion.
scared. I'm in.
She News. Do you like that?
I want a copy.
That's what I said. I want a copy so bad. She should mass print them. Anyway, that was just a little quick tangent. Now let's talk about what I thought was one of the only good episodes of RHONY so far.
Yes. I was hoping that would be the case. Once I saw there was an event,
Yes.
finally, it was like, maybe this will be it. Like, they finally have somewhere to go. They're not in a house trapped, complaining.
There's other stimuli. There's other people that can interact with them.
Yeah.
Like, there's more chance for entertainment from something that's not just, them sitting around a table when they don't know each other talking.
Yes.
So, yes, that was good.
I know you're a rap fan.
Yes.
So were you excited to see Jacob the Jeweler right up top?
Yeah, so I didn't know for sure. I'd never seen him before, but I know there's a famous Jacob the Jeweler. That was him.
Yeah.
Because I should have known. If they're going to get diamonds and jewelry in New York, that should have been him, but I didn't know what he looked like. And to be honest, I don't care about jewelry at all, even in the rap world. So I didn't care about that as much.
Okay.
And after those first 2 scenes where they're just like getting jewelry and then they're getting dressed, I was like, oh no, we're in for a slog.
Here we go again.
Like the first 8 minutes are those 2 scenes, and I was like, this is like a boring start.
Yeah.
To me.
Shopping.
Yes.
I did think it was fun, though, that Uba said that she met Jacob in Monaco at a Prince Albert party.
Yeah.
Which, am I mistaken in that a penis piercing is called a Prince Albert?
Prince Albert. Yeah, I thought Prince Albert was when someone says, like, in old movies or whatever, they say, like, guess who's calling? It's Prince Albert on the phone. But I think you're right.
Who's how long has Prince Albert been on Earth?
Who is Prince
Do you
Albert?
think Uba and Jacob the Jeweler are time travelers?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Prince Consort Albert, he died in 1861.
See what is happening?
Prince Albert was a member of the royal family. He died in 1861. What is slang Prince Albert? A type of genital piercing in which a ring or barbell jewelry is inserted. And that guy's a jeweler. Was it a Prince Albert party?
Oh my God.
Where everyone was in Monaco and they were doing diamond encrusted genital piercing?
It's like a Eyes Wide Shut party, but everyone gets their genitals pierced.
Exactly right. But what was this? What Prince Albert in Monaco?
That's why I was confused. There's a different one.
I'm sorry. It's not a jewel encrusted penis engravement party. The Prince Albert of Monaco is a prince. He's been reigning since 2005.
Okay.
And he must have thrown a party. He's kind of interesting. Prince Albert? Huh. So anyway, okay, that makes a
I
lot
feel like
more
we've
sense.
talked about Monaco before.
Yeah, we
It
love talking
comes
about Monaco.
back again.
Yeah, so that was okay. It was good that they went to a Prince Albert party, right?
Sure. Uba is a woman of the world. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I would be so stressed out if I borrowed millions of dollars of jewelry. Like, I don't think I'd be able to relax the whole time.
But I liked I don't want to step on it early, but I thought seeing what they do with people wearing $1 million worth of jewelry,
The
like
security guard.
that was kind of fun. Like
I thought it was weird that she put it on at the event. Like, I feel like usually me and Jimmy were talking about this of like, how does it usually work? And I feel like usually whenever you watch people get ready for the Oscars or something like that, they get dressed in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And I assume that the guard or it looked like there was also like a rep with the guard.
Yeah.
Like you would assume you would want to be wearing the jewelry for your arrival. But I guess maybe because hers was
she there early enough? Like
maybe it was early enough that it didn't matter.
I feel like they wanted to limit the amount of
locations
that for production, and also that she had to go with $250,000 worth of jewelry on, so it just made sense that cameras are up. This is where he'll meet, her, and it's going to be for 2 hours,
right? Do you think there's like a time cutoff? Like, I feel like for her there definitely was, but do you think if they loan jewels to Nicole Kidman at the Oscars and then she wants to go to the Vanity Fair party after, do you think they say, well, you're not fucking wearing them to that?
I bet they must have security, right? Like, does Nicole Kidman just have security at the Vanity Fair party, or does everybody check your security at the door?
I mean, I think if you are wearing the jewels, you literally like have to, or do you think they're like the guard stands outside and then you have, I don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. I don't know either, because this is the first thing I've seen in this world except in fiction or whatever. So I have to imagine that people with more clout than Aaron, and I'm not saying there's many people with more clout than Aaron, but probably have a little more leniency, and probably they outsource security to people they know that Nicole Kidman already works with and says, I take care of security on this piece of jewelry, or it's insured or whatever.
Right. I think it also depends. Like, sometimes there are like insane jewels that people are wearing, like Lady Gaga wore that insane like Tiffany diamond that was worth just like an obscene, it was massive, it was like Heart of the Ocean size. And I feel like when they do special PR, it's basically a PR stunt when they have someone wear $1 million diamond or whatever. I think for that they're like, all right, literally you're wearing it from point A to point B, take it off, give it back. Whereas with other stuff that's maybe still expensive but not quite that important, they're like, all right, you can go to the Vanity Fair party, but there's a guy standing outside and you're not allowed to leave without giving it back to him.
A fun film idea I was just thinking is someone wears $500,000 jewelry to an event, and they have like a kind of a bedraggled security guard who's down on his luck and down on his life, and he's so bored and he's going to retire, and then like a cat burglar type situation happens where it gets stolen.
Did you see Ocean's 8? Doesn't something like that happen? Not the big bedraggled guard, but isn't it something about a famous actress wearing a jewel?
I really think it is.
We just rewrote the movie.
I think it is.
I mean, I did not like that movie, so I put it out of my mind, but that rings a bell.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that they made, spoiler alert, but I couldn't believe that they made George Clooney dead.
Boo.
I thought they were going to have a cameo where the casket or like the mausoleum.
I forgot about that, quite honestly.
He died. He's dead in it. He died at like.
Maybe it's a con though.
Yes, I'm sure they were. I wanted it to be like he should have been a cameo where the mausoleum door opens up and he goes, "Sorry, I've just been resting my eyes." But they made him dead. Like,
I don't like that.
Me neither. Don't get me started on Ocean's 8. But yeah, you're exactly right. This premise has definitely been used a million times. But I liked the idea of someone like that guard, Aaron's guard, having to solve a mystery on his own because he doesn't want to get fired by his boss. Yeah,
that's fun. It could be kind of like a noir.
Yeah, noir. And it's just like, but it could be small scale because it's just like $250,000.
That's it.
Right. But not, in the grand scheme of like heist movies.
I I did like when he was like, haven't lost one yet.
Yeah. And then I didn't like when Aaron was like, so you're just going to be like lurking around me the whole time. It's like, why'd you have to call it lurking?
Rude.
He's a guard protecting $250,000 worth of stuff on you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. So those first two scenes, they were like just warming, us up. And then I think, so when they're shopping, Jessel says, are you going to Aaron and Abe's engagement party? And then I sort of thought, I was like, Jessel, this is a little mean-spirited. She goes, did you see how many sponsors were on the invite? And
that
then
is
Brendan
kind
was
of
like,
weird, don't you think?
well, I didn't think it was weird, but I just don't know. I don't know enough about the like high society New York, but it did, I guess it did seem like every aspect of their engagement party was sponsored.
Yeah.
Like that they couldn't have thrown this together on their own, and that they're really exploiting that this is going to be an event on television.
Yeah.
Like, has anybody
it's
ever...
giving déclassé.
You thought it was?
I would make fun of someone if I was going to their like wedding that had sponsors. That's weird.
Okay. Yeah. I guess
maybe like a birthday, you could take advantage and be like, this is frivolous. It's my birthday and brands want to sponsor the bar or have like giveaway, whatever. But like a wedding.
Yeah. Like a testament to their love. And
It's
there's
kinda
like
cheesy.
20. And then Bren says something kind of funny where she was like, is this a Coachella poster? There's like 20 brands on here.
Yeah.
So
And then she was like, I don't even know any of these brands.
Yeah. So that was fun shade.
Yeah.
Not just unwarranted.
Yeah. I feel like if you do something like that, you should be ready to get dogged on.
Cool. All right. That was good. And so then I feel like then after like that setting up, it becomes all about, well, first actually before, I thought I'm like starting to really come around on Jessel.
Okay.
Are you? I really liked the scene with her and Pavitt when they were applying to the preschool or whatever, and their dynamic, like, because we've heard like Pavitt, I don't know what we've heard or what I thought was ultimately going to be that he's like this awful husband or whatever, and he's already, so I was sort of like, what's that called? I thought that I was going to get something from him. He's actually kind of like fun, and I liked their banter together. Like he thought the whole idea of the preschool application, $62,000, was just absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
So I sort of enjoyed that little peek into their marriage. How did you feel?
Do you think
about it?
that she actually wants those things, or do you think she was trying to, I feel like she was kind of trying to pull like an Alex and Simon of like, we belong in this society and we must have a school that has locations in Rio
Monaco.
and Hong Kong and Prince Albert teaching a class. It felt a little performative to me.
All right.
And which is why he was probably like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I didn't see it with that lens. Man, and you're making me reevaluate everything. Yes, because it would have been completely so easy for them to have just done that. Like, just to say, oh yeah, we're actually considering this $62,000 school. And that's why his response was just like, what are you talking about?
I mean, have you heard the rumors that their apartment is rented, furnished, and that she moved there to be on the show? I didn't dig in further, but I heard that rumor.
I heard that rumor too, that she moved from London to Los Angeles, and then is only. But I was thinking about that, and I was like, there's precedent for this, right? There's precedent for
like switching cities,
or housewives that live 6 months out of the year somewhere else and then just come, like Salt Lake City. Like I can imagine that people like go there for filming and then leave or whatever. So I don't know. I guess the only criticism is that Andy Cohen represented this as like, these are all lifelong New Yorkers, and this is the embodiment of like New York, and the chemistry is also quintessential New York, and then the fact that she doesn't know anything, and also makes that Tribeca statement make more sense. That she just like didn't know the area.
Yeah, she's like, I've never been here before.
And then it's unfortunate that no one can call her out, because that would be the most interesting thing for Aaron to just be like, you just moved here, but they can't.
You don't even go here.
But that breaks the fourth wall.
Totally. Yeah, I did.
Do you like Pavitt?
He's kind of weird. He's kind of like, this is later, but in the vows at the vow renewal, when Abe is like, I promise to satisfy you emotionally and physically, they cut to Pavitt and he's like, ah!
I have
He's like,
to.
we don't need to talk about that.
Do you think that was his real in the moment reaction
No.
that he was stunned by
They did
sex
him
talk?
so dirty.
Yeah. I just thought I liked his personality more. I thought
He was a little more silly,
he's giving
laid
me,
back.
He's giving me Shane. And that's
Okay.
what I like about it.
I get that.
I like this little stinker with a heart of gold to where they're not good on camera. They
Yeah.
don't know what the hell they're doing. And I thought their banter was good. And I don't know why the hell they're not having sex
Yeah.
in the last 2 years. I don't understand that. But I like the little glimpses that, we saw of him. And,
Well, yeah, there's more to come on that.
Why?
He's about to become like a huge plot line. In the preview, it's like, why is he going to Vietnam? And they're kind of implying that he's going for sex.
Aaron implies that. Aaron is like, I know what people do in Vietnam. It's like, you do? I didn't know that.
He's going to go to one of those ping pong shows. Riley's face right now, you guys, his
You-
face dropped.
Are you talking about those notorious
The kind of thing that like
shows?
Lizzo goes to.
Lizzo goes to those kind of shows?
She forces her dancers to participate.
Really?
Well, that was in Amsterdam, but kind of same thing.
Do you think there's credence to those claims?
I don't know. I want to know more. I think something happened, but some of her dancers are defending her. Some of them are suing her. I don't know.
Beyonce sort of, I thought bravely, if it ultimately turns out that those were like falsehoods, she stood by Lizzo. And
She did.
Not Bethany. Beyonce doesn't typically like to wade into controversial issues. She's very
Yes.
averse to anything that would,
Yeah.
ruin her reputation. So I thought that was a brave stand.
I know. I
Brave.
want to know what she knows.
Right. You have to assume that if she was going to go out on a limb for Lizzo, she must know
She has
something about
information.
those shows.
Yeah. I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, you're right. So Pavitt is coming up with a little more. Maybe he'll turn out to be the ultimate stinker. But right now, I think by far, out of the husbands I've seen, I'm liking what Pavitt is dishing out. Abe's okay. Size husband. I know he listens, and I know he just became a Patreon listener. So I'm so sorry, Size husband, but he's not breaking out of the.
He's kind of just like a normal guy.
Yeah, but he's kind of getting into it a little too much. Like he's telling
You don't want
Sai
his
about.
takes.
I don't like his takes. I feel like he's getting too introspective and like he's like trying to be like a philosopher about this whole thing. And so far, I've like re-ranked now my order of who is providing me the most joy, and it's Jenna and Jessel now.
Okay.
And then Erin, I had high hopes, and she's sort of. I don't think Erin wants to look lame on camera, so she has kind of a facade.
Yeah.
And she can't let herself look bad.
She's uptight.
And sometimes when she's like laughing at jokes, I can tell she's being performative and overdoing it. Like she's still very uncomfortable on camera,
Yeah.
even though she seems like she's running things or whatever. And then so far, Sai and Bryn are now in like the lower zone for me.
Okay.
Bryn, how do you feel? Bryn is this is high level,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to say, but like while we're talking about it, but like Bryn has become, unfortunately to me, a little one note. This persona shtick. It's like every single like opportunity to make like a sexual related joke, which I think are so fun and like anybody can do it. And I think that's great. But she is like making it her thing. It's like there's wieners at the party. Oh my God, I'm gonna put this wiener in my mouth. Like every single thing. I feel like she has a honed in persona that she wants to be hers.
Yeah.
And I can see that it's manufactured for the most
Yeah.
part.
I was hoping after we got her sort of more vulnerable storyline that she would cast that persona aside.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe it will. I feel like there's something better underneath. I'm like,
I know. I wish
you know
she
what I
could.
mean?
I do think she has the charm and the charisma and the personality to, because that's what I saw in the first couple episodes. But I feel like she is so well versed in Housewives lore and legacy, and she knows everything about it, that she is presenting a front.
Yeah.
And once she stops doing that and just kind of like, I don't know, becomes more herself, I think she'll have enough personality to like really shine.
Yeah.
But now it is coming off as
Yeah.
performative.
She was like really on one at this event where she
Yes.
was just like, haha, I'm going to steal your husband. Like, I'm going
Yeah.
to be an evil stepmom. Like, it just felt like she like couldn't stop. It was
She,
like
like-
pathological.
She like talked Abe's ear off at the party. Abe was like,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I didn't think it was offensive
Me
because
neither.
it was just stupid, but
Yes.
like, I didn't take it seriously. But
Also, I mean, we're gonna get to it, but also like Bryn's chess thing, I've like never seen anything like that. I can't get it out of my head that she like said she was like Bobby Fischer and that she like goes to all these secret chess clubs, and then she didn't know how to work that clock, and she lost the quickest match in history. And then when she showed up to the event, which we're getting to, but she's wearing sunglasses and she's like, I'm hungover, my eyes are bloodshot, so I'm wearing sunglasses. And then she takes off her sunglasses and like she's not bloodshot, or it doesn't seem like she's hungover at all.
Right.
It's like, I think
she just thought it would be like a cool look.
yeah, totally. So
Yeah.
anyway, but it is fun to like get to know them more. And I think I was a little harsh up front because now that, they're more interesting as you get to know them. And I should have reserved judgment until maybe 6 or 7 episodes, because now I'm like, whoa, I actually am enjoying Jessel, where after the first couple episodes, I was like, get this person off immediately,
Yeah. No, I feel like, what episode is this? 6?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still ruminating
like
on
like
everyone.
And I shouldn't be. I'm just like trying to make bold claims as we go to maybe potentially be really right or really wrong. But it's interesting, I guess, that the dynamics are shifting a little bit as I watch, and that like maybe I didn't truly know Jessel yet, and we're still learning, and it could get way better once we they might cut some dead weight, but once we know them and once their drama becomes organic to actually knowing each other. This season is just such a flop so far because they were just put into a room and they have to create something that has happened between them. And but this engagement or anniversary party was like the first time where an external event provided conflict because they're all reacting to something real, like you said.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I had to note, that scene where Jenna is doing that interior design project.
Yes.
They finally, maybe they said this before, I didn't realize it. Her friend Brandon that she's always with was his lower third was friend/architect.
Whoa.
And I was like, didn't he like make them like dinner before? And then he was there when they were trimming the tree.
Okay.
I thought he was like her assistant or something.
I didn't know.
But he's an architect?
So he's like a what's that called? A jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, I guess.
He
made fondue.
Yeah.
He's an architect.
Jenna's home life is still a little bit of a mystery to me.
Yeah.
As I guess it should be after this many episodes. But yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about that. And I didn't know that, like, I thought it was interesting when she said that she did one internal, or what's it called? Interior decorating design, like job. And then that got way more acclaim than like her years of fashion design or whatever.
Yeah, her career is interesting. I mean, part of me is like, why is she so rich? But I guess her J. Crew job was probably extremely well paying.
Was she the CEO of it? Or the chief design officer?
Yeah, she said what exactly it was. It wasn't, I don't think it was CEO, because I don't think she like managed the like business, but she was like, I think like top 3 ranking, like basically in charge of the entire creative direction. That
has to be so lucrative. And then all of the like personal style stuff she must do for people. Like she talked about styling, like, Michelle Obama and stuff, like all that, like having that fashion knowledge. She must have so much like side work too that she gets paid for.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Me too.
She also kind of implied, again, this is later, but when she reveals that she's single, she kind of, without saying it, implied that her partner dumped her for being on The Housewives, right?
Yeah, I think that was what Jenna was trying to say without specifically breaking the fourth wall. Sai asks, did she want you to be more vocal or something? And she goes, no, it was the exact opposite. Like she wanted to be less vocal.
Like she basically said she didn't sign up for this. And she was like, it's too late now.
Yeah. And so I guess Jenna probably had conversations about potentially, showing her on the show and like letting the cameras into their lives. And she said, absolutely not. And that ended it. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that she lost her relationship because of Housewives immediately.
Right. I know. It is funny that, I think we've touched on this before, but it's funny that she seems so sort of not trying to be a housewife the way that the other women are, almost as if she doesn't want attention. But we know that she's been looking for a show to do for years.
Yes.
Like she had that HBO Max show. She's clearly looking for some sort of limelight.
Yeah, she wants to be a personality,
Yeah.
right? Is that what, yeah, like a media
Yeah.
personality? Like she,
It's just funny that she's kind of so awkward
yeah,
and
well,
acts like she's shy.
yes, but this is a very specific show. You know, like if she's just on a, her show is basically like what was Bethenny's show called? The B
Yeah.
Shot?
Yeah. Big Shot with
The Big Shot?
B.
The Big Shot with Bethenny Frankel. This was sort of like her version, like a
Right.
style show where
I should watch it.
Was she trying to hire people? Do you remember?
I think so.
Okay, but this is like Housewives gets so much more personal. Like they
Yeah,
want
that's true.
that kind of show gets 20% of your life. Housewives gets 90%.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just, I don't know. She's never been filmed in her closet, you know, throwing away clothes, and she's like, what is going on here? How do I make this entertaining?
Yeah, I should watch it. I may have seen like one.
Me too.
Spoiler. It's not a spoiler. It's more inside knowledge. That show was supposed to be on TBS originally, and then with all the mergers and everything, it got shuffled around onto HBO Max.
That was gonna be on TBS.
Don't get me started. Their shit makes no sense over there.
I worked on for a while. TBS wanted to have this like Adult Swim hour. Do you remember that? Like it was like an hour of like 5-10 minute programming that would sort of rival Adult
Was it
Swim.
2016?
Yeah, around.
That was like when they had Search Party and they were doing like alt
Yes.
comedy, and then
Yes.
they dumped it and did like wrestling.
Yeah. I was a part of, because Absolutely had 5 of those shows to produce, and they
That's
all
like right when I started working there.
in Rachel Dratch's Rachel Dratch's hour.
Wasn't that on Adult Swim or True TV?
True TV.
Yes.
Sorry. So True TV and TBS tried the same thing. They
Yeah.
all wanted a little bit of that like Adult Swim alt
Yes.
comedy thing, and then they all just like completely abandoned it after
I know.
a couple of years.
At True TV, the only show I ever worked on that I was excited about was At Home with Amy Sedaris.
Oh, that's cool. How was it?
It's a good show. It's funny.
At Home with Amy Sedaris.
Yes.
Was she just showing her home life?
It's like it's a scripted comedy,
Oh, that's
and
fine.
it would always have fun guest stars like Justin Theroux, and it's just kooky.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, you want it? Okay, so there's one scene before we get into the anniversary party, which I thought the anniversary party was awesome, was good.
Yeah.
But there is the scene with Abe and Aaron where they're talking about their love.
Yes.
First of all, this technically, do you think this is technically a vow renewal?
Yes.
They just didn't, producers and them didn't want to call it what it was.
because it's cursed to have a vow renewal
Because it's a
on
trope.
Bravo.
Because it's
Yeah.
a trope. Because we've seen 100 vow renewals, but this was a 10-year anniversary party where they read their vows to each other for the first time.
Right.
It's a technicality. They got a vow renewal.
Right.
on-
I didn't put it together that they kept being like, we never had vows.
They said they forgot to do their vows.
Right.
They both said that. That they just like, that got lost in the...
Right.
So I think there was some, oh man, I can never say this word. They were obfuscating the reality that this is a vow renewal in every way
100%.
except the title.
Okay. Yeah.
And so anyway, they go to a dinner, David Burke Tavern.
Yes.
And they have this dinner where they're talking about, it's like getting to know them as a couple.
Yeah.
And getting them ready for
I
their
do
anniversary party.
like that Abe. I don't know if I like love him or anything like that, but he's very comfortable.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm warming up to Abe. I'm like always resistant to, I don't know, I didn't even know why I was like resistant to him at first, but I think he was fine and he did
Yeah.
good in the scene. He was
He's
kinda
like
fun in
funny.
this-
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fun in this episode. Did you see that behind them?
I was hoping you would bring this up.
Behind them. So we're trying to watch two people reclaim their love and show us a love that is more powerful than anything in the world. Behind them, another love is being spotlighted that no one comments on. And it's a man in the corner having dinner with a gigantic stuffed penguin. Right?
I immediately thought of Billy Madison when he keeps
where the audience sees it, but they didn't see it, right? Yeah. It's his imaginary friend.
Yeah.
So I have to. My theory was that, like, which ruins it, is that do you think is that just a fixture of this tavern that
I
in the
think
corner?
so.
Okay.
Also, I tried to ignore it for the fun of it, but there were moments when
People
like he'd be with another person and then they would cut back and then there wouldn't be another person there. So I think he was meeting someone, and I think maybe there's just a penguin always there, but I obviously much prefer to think that his girlfriend is a penguin.
Yes, or it's a hallucination that the audience is seeing and no one else sees, and Aaron and Abe didn't see it. It's just I don't remember a more funny thing in the background.
Well, it's like right in the camera line. Like
Yeah,
it's like right in the corner.
and someone should have acknowledged it. Aaron should have said, just so you know, Abe, there is a man talking to a penguin, taking photos of the penguin over there. Like,
yeah. There would be moments when he'd be like talking and it like looked like he was having a conversation with the penguin.
yes, and that is happening the entire time in the
It
background.
is distracting.
Very distracting. So I wanted to ask you. So Aaron and Abe are talking about their love for each other. Like they're like, we love each other. I love you. I can't believe we forgot to do our vows 10 years ago. Let's definitely do them. And then for the first time in Housewives history, someone orders a drink and then he says, actually, I don't like this. I want it taken back. I'm sorry to be a hassle, but please get me a new drink. And I was like, whoa, that's interesting. Even if you hated your drink, I feel like most people would just drink it because you don't want that on camera, or you don't want to like interrupt again or whatever. He did it. And then he goes, I would like a whiskey in a glass.
Tequila rocks.
Tequila rocks. And then the server says, would you like little tiny cubes of ice?
Little tiny piece of shit rocks that no one would want?
Yeah. Or do you want our customary gigantic, huge, big rock? And he goes, the big rock, please. And then Aaron says, I'd love a big rock. And he goes, you would? And then she goes, yeah. And then he digs into his pants and he goes, here. And it's a gigantic, goddamn Jacob the Jeweler, huge. What do you think that ring costs?
Oof.
Like,
I don't even know.
I'm so bad at guessing prices. Is 50,000 way too much?
Maybe more.
Maybe more?
I didn't get a really good look at it, but it could have been like $100,000 ring.
Oh, it was, what did you say, 100?
Yeah.
It was huge. It was like a full rectangle that went over the sides of her finger in all directions, almost the size of whatever you call this.
Well, didn't they say that Bethenny's engagement ring is like worth over $1 million?
The one that she has now?
Yeah.
From the person she's dating?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know anything about that guy.
I know. It's
I love Bethenny
scary.
so much, but I don't know anything about that man she's dating.
Yeah, she's a huge ring. I don't know why he has so much money. I'm kind of suspicious, but
yeah. So when that server came over and they had the big rock talk, I thought that was such a big, or the best segue I've ever seen to give.
I know. Do you think it was because it felt a little choreographed? So he's like, I'm not going to give you my coat. She's like, give him your coat. He's like, I'm going to keep my coat.
Right.
And then he orders the drink. He goes, what's good here? And she recommends that drink and he goes, I'm in.
Right.
And then he like barely even drinks the drink and then he doesn't want it. It felt a little bit like a setup. I don't know.
Yeah. So then do you think Aaron was still fooled? Because she said big rock. She gave him the perfect segue.
Or it seemed too out of, do you think, what are the odds she's going to say, I want a big rock?
So you think in our, most cynical minds that this whole thing could have been an elaborate way to present that diamond, like a scene, like they
maybe, or
Abe did this,
or she was so sus about the coat thing because it was giving. I mean, the second he wouldn't give up his coat, I assume that's what was going to happen.
Really? I didn't.
Yeah.
Wow, you're so much more intuitive than I am. I didn't even think about that at all. I go, where's that penguin?
Right. It's like, remember when I told you that Jimmy surprised me with a birthday trip to Big Bear or whatever?
Yes.
And I kept being like, let's stop here. Like, let's go do this. And he'd be like, we can't do that. And I was like, why? Like, I feel like Aaron was like, just put your coat on the hanger. Like, what's wrong with you?
But did you know that Jimmy was going to surprise you when he wouldn't
No,
stop?
I didn't know.
Yeah, see? So you didn't see those outlier behavior indicators.
So, I don't know. If Watch What Happens Live was on right now, Andy could have asked that.
I choose to believe, I don't know why I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, but I choose to believe it was just a perfect segue. And if anybody was involved, it was just Abe saying, can you get me a drink with a big rock in it? And hopefully Aaron will say.
Yeah,
or
he did seem ready to, like, it felt like almost he gave it to her quicker than he expected based on her joke.
So maybe it was an organic big rock joke. she was trying to do like maybe a sexual humor or no, I guess it was more engagement ring humor or wedding ring humor. But anyway, I just thought I've never seen a more perfect segue to give, a wedding ring to someone.
Yeah, it went off without a hitch.
Yes. And then we're sort of now people are getting ready for the big event, right? We're now like half the episode is, which I like episodes like this. I like when you see a little bit, then you get the runway of people expecting the big event, and then you just get the big event, and you have to hope that something fun happens at the event. But I like episodes that are structured like this, not odds and ends or filler. I like when they're all gearing up for something, and one thing is the focus of it. It's more contained. Yeah.
It gets hard to take notes sometimes when it works this way because it keeps switching from person to person, and I'm like, interior, Aaron's apartment. Then I'm like, no, Jessel's apartment. Jenna's apartment.
Oh, when they do those quick things, yeah.
Yeah.
So Uba tells Aaron, unfortunately, she has COVID.
Yeah.
So she's out.
And
Pavitt and Jessel have another little kind of fun scene where they're drinking, and I don't know. I was just like, I like this. I could watch their home life more. I'm more receptive to just getting little glimpses of their marriage and their banter. I like it.
Did you notice that she said that the wine like tasted weird, and she was like, did Hairspray get in my wine, or is this just bad wine? And Pavitt's like, I'm not wasting the good wine on you right now. And I was like, cut back to Aaron like spitting out the wine at their house.
Right. So they did.
Maybe they're just cheap
garbage.
asses.
Yeah. Also, that was kind of like Shane humor.
Yeah. Totally. Negging.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they get to the party venue, which is at a bank.
Okay, but I'm going to say it first, and because I want to be wrong, and I want people to say, Riley, you're so wrong. But I actually thought that venue was beautiful, uncharacteristically beautiful for New York. No shade to New York, but for the first few seasons when I was watching original RHONY, like the first 5 or 6 seasons of RHONY, it's like every single place they go to is the ugliest place I've ever seen. Every restaurant they go to, there's no outside. Everything has the horrible, ugly decor. All like for a while, I was just like stunned that they never went anywhere aesthetically pleasing, and that could have just been them.
Yeah,
they don't go anywhere. So for the first time, I was like, damn, Aaron actually found a venue. This thing looks beautiful. I mean, even Bethany's venue.
Oh yeah,
the four seasons. Like she wanted that more than life itself.
Yeah,
that place was ugly as hell. I think I've already said
yeah.
It. So
I mean, it might be like a money thing. Like I think she definitely spent like a shit ton on decking out this event space.
But then also had like $100,000 worth of like sponsors.
Totally. It had those projections on the wall that were pretty,
and that like fountain
flowers.
I liked the art projection. It looked like a mosaic, cool. Beautiful art, like projected, and then a waterfall. I don't know if that was just a screen that played that, or if it actually was like. I was just like, this is beautiful.
No, it did. My first impression was that it looked really nice, and then Bryn sort of like poisoned my mind, saying that it looked like what did she say? She was like,
it's giving bank, it's giving charity event, it's giving bar mitzvah, and I was like, Bryn, please,
I think she was kind of grasping at straws.
She was, which that's what this entire season has been so far. They are mining for what to talk about, and I thought that was egregious of Bryn to say it looked ugly. That's I was like, this is the best place I've ever seen on RHONY. This looks great. Why are you saying it looks like a bar mitzvah?
It was. There was something about it that was giving charity function in that it was so not intimate.
Yes.
So like when they get to the speeches, you can't fucking hear a thing.
That was so funny to me. That's the unintentional stuff I love that this season has been missing. The stuff that you can't plan for. And we can just get into it now. Unfortunately, this should have been the first thing they thought about and cut. They have five speakers talk. It looked like 20 minutes each.
God. That one guy had like a pamphlet, like 10 pages long.
So finally, because that was so embarrassing and first of all, the audio was the worst audio I've ever heard.
It was so bad. I wrote down terrible venue for speeches.
Yes, and also they're so far, like you said, it's too big.
Yeah.
No one, if you're in the back, if you and I were in the back, we were invited and we're 10 rows behind and we're like by the food or whatever and the drinks, we're not listening to that garbage. You're fully,
No one was.
No one was. So that was a huge mistake.
Which I'm like, I guess that's also because they didn't want to admit that it was a vow renewal. They threw a different kind of party and
Yes.
ignored what needed. Because when you do have a vow renewal,
But it was a vow renewal because why would they have speakers at an anniversary party?
Right.
You don't really have people re-talk about your love 10 years later.
right. Well, that's why it was like a confused concept.
Yes.
Because they basically threw like a huge party that would normally be like a wedding after party or like a charity gala or something like that, where it's just all about people like milling around.
Yes.
But then they wanted an element that you would usually have at a more intimate setting where everyone's
Yes.
completely quiet
Right.
and like sitting in chairs.
Right.
And they tried to mix both formats.
Yes.
And it was a flop.
It was a flop. So anything of note, like as they're gearing up, we find out that Jenna is no longer in that relationship, which we talked about.
Yes.
Everyone arrives except Uba. I remember I don't know, there was an interaction with Aaron's dad, right?
Yeah.
Where he is dating someone new or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like he has a new girlfriend or something.
Right. Yeah, it's like not even her stepmom. It's just like her dad's girlfriend. He tells Aaron that you can see her tits in that dress, which I doubt you have much of an opinion on this, but that dress with the boob tape was a disaster.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm I don't trust my opinions in any of these areas, but I thought it looked okay.
I liked the dress and I thought it looked good on her, but she needed a different solve for her boobs not popping out because throughout the
Oh.
entire episode she was sticking it.
Okay.
Like it was clearly bothering her.
Yes.
And her boobs were smashed
Yes.
down by it and it made her boobs look bad. I'm not body shaming. She
Well, it's not
needed
her
a different solution.
Yeah, it's not her fault. Yeah, I noticed it, like, which I never noticed, but like there was a lot of like struggle there on the sides.
And like I hate when I can see that someone is correcting their garment
Yes.
all night. I'm like,
Right.
that means that it wasn't a success.
That's
like
why-
you should have chosen something else.
That's why she wanted to get out of that thing
Right.
immediately. It was like
Yes.
2 hours
into
and
that
a-
little Paco Rabanne number. I recognize it because I recognize every silver piece of clothing on the entire internet because I've been looking for what to wear to Beyonce.
Really?
Yeah.
When is Beyonce?
Next weekend is the 2nd.
And you're gonna wear a silver outfit?
Well, I had bought a bunch of black stuff and then Beyonce posted like 1 week before the show that that's like her birthday week. And she said for her birthday, she would love if everyone wore silver so that we
Aw.
could be a giant disco ball.
That's sweet.
And so now everyone's like scrambling to buy
Get
new
silver stuff. Wow, you gotta
clothes.
let me know how that ends up going. So Paco Rabanne is the
Yeah, it's very expensive. It was out of my price range, but I liked that little outfit.
Yeah, that fits with the Renaissance theme too.
Yeah.
To be a big gigantic disco ball.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
So
I won't look up clothes right now.
So then we kind of talked about it, but Bryn, to me, like I already mentioned, is floundering in trying to provide Bryn moments throughout this entire thing. I'm gonna hit on your dad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit on your husband. I'm gonna say the wieners are good in my mouth.
Right.
I'm gonna look for guys. I just stood up another guy on another date. Like it was like she wanted 10. She was throwing fucking what? Shit
It
at a
almost like
wall.
made me like sad.
Me too.
Like
It
it was giving desperate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was not giving what she thought.
Yeah.
And-
Like I'm almost like she brought a friend with her and whatever, and I was like, I almost am like, I wish that she would have a romantic storyline just so that she would have like something going on, like to ground her.
Yeah.
Not like she needs a man, like whatever, but I just like, I feel like her shtick
Yeah.
of being like single and horny and
Yeah.
a whore or whatever she thinks is funny is too much.
Yeah. Well, it's something she wants too, so it wouldn't be out of place for her to like start dating. It seems like she went on a date with someone and she was probably like, this guy's not ready for prime time and didn't want to show him
She
on camera.
ditched him.
Yeah. But she was, I think, like my cast rankings as I'm starting to evaluate them, this was an environment where I felt Bryn's energy kind of flopped because there was enough going on that was like fun and interesting and weird to where she didn't need to do this.
Yeah.
But then as the speeches are going on, and they are long as hell, they gave them the classic long speech edit.
Yes.
And they're going, I don't like Aaron. And then they show one guy who's like his group best man guy, and they only show a snippet of him, but he was like, so when I was underage, I had a fake ID. And then they just like cut him off. He was going to do a classic,
Oh my
like
God.
stupid.
I can't.
Yeah.
And even the Aaron and Abe's vows or whatever were the most like basic shit in the world, where I was like, we had to go through all of this for you to say like, never did I think that when I went to a dive bar at blah 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 that I would be meeting the man I would be with forever. I was like, that's the most like Webster's dictionary ass vows of all time.
Yeah. Like, what's that Shakespeare quote they always say?
I don't know.
It is better to have love. No, I'm just kidding. No, but everyone has that same like love quote or whatever. But yeah, when will people realize that no one wants to hear anything at a wedding? You have to have 5 minutes of something to make it official or whatever. But the audacity to think that your guests want to listen to someone they don't know for more than 5 minutes when you're surrounded by alcohol and people and everyone looks wild and there's a waterfall.
Yes.
You're going to listen to a best man go, I had a fake ID when I was 17. And
Certainly not in that setting. If you did like a petite wedding where everyone knows each other and they were all there for that, then like fine. Because it's like,
there's even a limit to that. But
sure,
yes, for sure.
But like something like this, I'm like, probably half the people in here don't even know who the fuck that is.
And it was so it was so echoey that the acoustics were so awful that you could hear Bryn probably talking in the back and the speaker could hear. Like the room just had all of their noise in it.
Do you think that Aaron's sister was being performative by telling them to stop talking?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to highlight. So Aaron's sister wants a piece, and she goes up to the group, which everyone is talking.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
When you look around after she says that, you're like, literally, I can't see someone that's not talking.
No, people were just spinning around in the background, just like doing anything but listening. So the fact that she chose them, but then obviously she is focused on the 5 people that are on the show, knowing that it is going to be highlighted that they're talking through this. So she did. So Bryn's response I thought was great. She's like, are you going to go around and tell everybody to stop? Like, I loved that. Like that was such a perfect response. A great thing that Bryn did. Yeah. But obviously she cares about what they're doing, that they're the ones
totally
that are,
and she flopped because she was like, it's really rude that you guys are arguing, and they were like, we're literally not.
Yeah, they weren't.
Like,
they were
there's no drama. Like, she was just like, housewives equals arguments, and they're like, gesticulating over here. I have to stop them.
She should have totally just ignored it. So I don't know if she wanted a piece of a little bit of the action or if she really thought she was defending Aaron. If she was just defending Aaron, it's very hypocritical to only go to them.
Yeah. The best cherry on top was then literally like 1 second later, Aaron's mom came to introduce herself to all the housewives during the speech, and they were like, we're not allowed to talk. Your other daughter just yelled at us, and she was like, yeah, Mom, you need to pay attention. She was like, oh, okay.
I loved that. It was like the perfect innocent payback for that. Like, Aaron's sister stopped her from talking, and then the mom wants to go up and introduce herself for the first time because she wants to meet all these cast members. Yeah. And they're like, we can't talk to you. Your daughter just said that.
Well, it's also hilarious that the mom was like making the rounds during the speeches.
Yes, I know.
Like, even the literal mother of the bride doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, was not listening. Then they go on and on. Even Jenna, who is very polite, is like, let's wrap this up. Sai is so hungry. And I was like, Sai, please don't talk about how hungry you are again. Please. Yeah. We've heard it every single episode. But then when it's revealed that they're just serving little pigs in a blanket and she's a pescatarian, I'm like, okay, I believe now that Sai is actually a hungry person. And if you go to an event for 3 hours and you can't eat the one food, I'm fine with Sai going to Nobu.
There had to have been more than just pigs and blankies.
She calls it, piggies and blankies. And no, I mean, they would have highlighted it.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably would have been like cheese, charcuterie.
Yeah, I think finally Sai's hunger
was justified.
Storyline was finally, if there was only piggies there and she doesn't eat them.
That would be savage and insane to throw a event like that and only have pigs and blankies.
Okay, you're probably right. So maybe this is just Sai still trying to create this hunger.
But I was thinking about this during Sheree's party too. I think past, like, what do they call it? Like past hors d'oeuvres, like tray past is terrible. I need to have a ground zero where I can graze.
Me too.
Because if I have to wait for a human and then feel judged by how much I want to eat, I'm not going to eat as much as I want to. Whereas if I can just go fix a plate, I'll eat as much as I want. Yeah.
I think for all future housewives parties, just so you don't get this complaint, just have a bunch of shit that no one can complain about. And Erin, I don't know what the hell you were thinking to have limited.
She's trying to kill these women.
Yeah.
Especially after everything we've been through, she isn't going to have food out. I also wanted to mention, have you noticed that Jenna is always has food in her mouth?
No.
She's like Brad Pitt.
Like she's always,
always.
Like in Ocean's 11.
Yeah. And in like most of his movies.
Why does he always eat in his movies?
It's his like acting thing. It's like gives him something to do that like is like naturalistic.
What other movies does he eat in?
There's like a video, like it's literally like in like Burn After Reading. That's the one he's in, right?
Yeah, he's
always like eating out like snacks out of a bag. I think in like literally in 7, he's like eating like coffee, like just always hand to mouth food always. But Ocean's 11's the best example.
Does he eat in Fight Club?
I'm sure.
Well, Ocean's 11, he's in every single scene he actually is eating.
Yeah.
But then now that you say that, I'm like thinking about the movies I've seen him in. Like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino didn't let him eat a lot. In Ad Astra, I don't think he could have eaten. He was in space. But then
I've definitely seen like a montage video of like
him
going through his
I'm
films.
sure now that because I don't pay attention to that. I'm sure now that I see it, I won't be able to stop thinking about it. So he likes eating on
it's
camera.
Part of his shtick. And Jenna, I've noticed, is like always eating. Like she always has something in her mouth. Yeah,
she was eating. Well, I'm never gonna not see it. She was eating when Jessel brought up the threesome. She goes, Jessel says, I want you to spice up our sex life. Can you come into our bedroom and have a threesome? And Jenna is eating through that entire conversation, right?
And I remember like during the whole like caviar conversation, like I feel like she was just like eating chips the whole time. I think it's like a nervous habit.
Yes.
Like she wants like something to do with her hands or like something to orient.
Yes.
I don't know.
So, yep. So that was interesting too. And then as they're winding down and the speeches are stopping, I was like, okay, this is good. Like we got a little bit of, fun here. There was some interesting stuff at this event. And then there was a little bit of the old RHONY chaos when someone's hair gets lit on fire. And
that was crazy.
Like it erupted in flames. It was.
I like that actually Sai's comment about it was pretty funny that the woman like wasn't stressed. They were like, your hair's on fire. She was like, what?
Like, when you saw that, it was like, whoa, that was a significant flame in her hair.
Totally.
And then, I mean, if we're winding down, I don't know if there's anything else you want to highlight, but Sai says, let's go to Nobu. And no one else goes with her. And Sai just says, I've been here enough. No one will notice me if I'm gone, which is obviously so not true when you're a cast member on a show.
Right. But I was confused about the timeline. So they all agreed they were going to go.
And then Erin caught him on the way out as they were like going to slip out and go to. It would have actually been a pretty iconic ending to an episode if they had filmed them at Nobu and Erin is like left wondering where the cast members went.
Yeah.
But they kind of got. What's that called? They got caught.
Yeah.
Leaving.
She goes, you better not leave. I'm going to change.
Yep.
And then she changes her new outfit. And then they all take photo booth photos and stuff. But Sai has already left. So I'm like, is she just like at a booth at Nobu alone?
Yeah, I would have loved to see, like, I would have loved to learn more about, like, did she eat a bunch of stuff?
Right.
And like I think I felt like it was properly motivated. Like it was like Chekhov's gun or whatever. If you talk about hunger enough, eventually that's going to come out. So I felt like it was fun that Sai just left because she was like, I'm too hungry to stay here.
She was also kind of rude about her husband didn't come, which like isn't a big deal, but she was like, yeah, he couldn't come because our nanny's sick. And then she was like, oh no. And then Sai was like, yeah, he didn't really care. He didn't want to be here. He was like, I'd rather be at home. I was like, you didn't have to say that.
Yeah, that was rude. And also when she went to Jessel's party last week, when Jessel goes, thank you so much for coming, Sai goes, yeah, I'm really, really tired. So like, she was like, she's basically saying like, I barely came here.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So
Also, what did you think about Jenna grabbing Aaron's ass for like an hour and then Aaron just like would never turn around?
Well, I thought because Aaron's dress was sort of like armor that she couldn't feel Jenna's light
Touch.
grasping, but Jenna did try 6 times. And I think it only took Aaron turning around to even notice what she was doing. And yeah, what did you think about that?
I thought it was weird. I was like, why doesn't she notice that her ass is being touched? And then it felt like a flop of like Jenna was trying to be fun and it like didn't work.
Yeah, it's sad. But that's sort of like Jenna's MO so far. It's like she is awkward, right? Self-proclaimedly awkward. And so that's thing flopping is kind of par for the course.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting that she said she would be with a man again.
Yeah.
So who knows what comes next for her. We also didn't mention that Meredith Marks was there.
Oh, I know. Meredith and
Brooks.
Yeah, that was nice.
And Aaron was like, you guys need to come for Shabbat. And I was like, again, maybe is that one of the people you were referring to that's always in New York?
Me.
Yes. You were saying Salt Lake. They're not
well,
always
I was
Salt
thinking,
Lake.
yeah, I was thinking of this. I was thinking if Meredith is like part-time and she just goes there to...
Well, that's what, remember Lisa Barlow was like, she's fucked everyone in New York.
Right.
So...
Lisa Barlow was... I haven't seen that yet. Lisa Barlow was talking about Meredith?
Sorry, spoiler.
No, that's okay.
It's like there's a hot mic moment where Lisa Barlow is on a rampage. She's mad at Meredith. I don't even remember why. And she's like, she's a whore. She's fucked everyone in New York.
Whoa.
And she like didn't know her mic was on.
Do you think Meredith and Lisa look alike?
Yes.
To the
Jimmy
point...
thinks that like it's like a huge flaw in the show because he like cannot tell them apart.
I'm actually stunned by how much they look alike to where it is confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost look exactly alike. And I know people...
when I first started watching, I was like, wait.
Yeah, wait, what's going on here? Anyway, this episode, though, I think for all the reasons we just stated, was a step up. And as we learn about these cast members more, I think their quirks and foibles and the things we know about them will start to heighten the conflict. And as long as they keep having like entertaining things that are actually happening around them, it could get a lot better.
Totally. No, it definitely
External
benefited.
stimuli.
Yes. Yeah, that's what's been missing, I think, this whole time. They pushed us to the goddamn limit with the Hamptons. It went on for way too long.
Yeah.
And maybe now, I am curious. I would love a rundown of exactly how the show was affected by that one woman getting fired.
Yes.
And like when that ended and like if maybe now we're free of that era.
I think we are.
You know?
I think we were in the shadow of that, and now they're starting to have things that happen outside of that.
Right. Because so that was the 6th episode, so I can imagine that woman was maybe really heavy in the first 5 and then they had to reassess or whatever.
Yeah, maybe she was like the focus of all of the drama.
Yeah. Ugh, can we like see the tapes?
I know.
I want to like, you know how you can go to the library and use the, what's it called? Like the microfiche.
Microfiche. Yeah. I was going to say mimeograph, but you're right. Microfiche.
Like, can we access, I wish it was like public records, but you had to go sit in like a booth and like you can't take video, you can only take notes.
Sort of like like when you're trying to research a topic and you just have access for an hour in there to like look at this big
the boxes like in Zodiac when he can look at the evidence but he isn't even allowed to take notes.
And he has to like write it all down
on a napkin
really quickly.
Later. Yeah.
Do you think we could watch the footage in that capacity at some point?
Well, we have to go to the Bravo the House of Records.
Yes.
It'll be like, remember when Cousin Greg goes on Thanksgiving to burn all the records?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was great. And he
They
keeps
probably
that-
already burned all these tapes.
Oh, man.
They probably already sent in Cousin Greg.
But I would like if there was like a Bravo Deep Throat type person that would meet us in like a darkened garage and give us USB with this forgotten footage, and we would be respectful with it.
We could meet like inside the Harry Potter castle on the Universal lot.
On the Quidditch ride.
Yeah, while they're doing the fireworks so that no one could hear us.
Why that place in particular?
Well, it's like the NBC Uni grounds are right
so it
there.
would be very
There's
easy
probably a
for
tunnel.
them. So meet us. At the ride. Have you been on that ride?
No, I've never been to Harry Potter Land.
You haven't?
No.
You're not a big Harry Potter fan?
I mean, I read the books at the time.
You never saw the films?
I've seen the films.
You
I
don't
think
like-
I've seen all of them. I just like never need to watch them again.
Oh my God, a one and done for the Harry Potter films. Wow. I've never heard that opinion before. Either someone's never
I think
seen
that the
them.
brand has truly been tarnished by all of their spin-offs.
What spin-offs?
Like
the
friggin',
Dumbledore, Secrets of Dumbledore?
like Fantastic Beasts.
You can't remove that from your...
It's all trashy to me now.
Oh, just from those three? Wow. You should get a look at the Star Wars universe. That has been...
My mind is made up on that as well.
Yeah, no, that... Talk about ruined brand. Star Wars has been through the muck. But it's hard.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, I feel like, is not
I mean, I could
tarnished yet.
watch maybe like the oldest ones have that holiday twinkle, you know.
They
like,
all have a little bit of Christmas in them.
yeah, like the vibe is there. I'm just like probably not going to throw it on and watch it, is what I'm saying.
One and done.
I've seen them all more than once, I'm sure.
Twice?
Not all of them, but probably at least half of them.
Harry Potter 7 Part 1 is really fun. When they're on the run and they're in the woods and they start dancing to this Nick Cave song, Hermione and Harry dance.
Before
And then-
shit goes down.
And then Ron sees this vision of Hermione and Harry kissing in this cloud, and it stems all of his jealousy.
Is that when they use the boot to transport?
No, they use the boot as a port key in Harry Potter. we gotta move on.
I mean, I feel like we've talked about this. I went at midnight for the books and shit, like
we
the
have,
whole
but
time.
I didn't know. I never heard. I know people who are staunchly opposed to the films and love the books
I
more.
just there was a time and a place, and I feel like I've moved past it.
Wow. So, okay. I mean, no judgment. I've just never heard that.
If you want to
take where-
hold some sort of a holiday event where you make cider and have like
Mold.
jelly beans and shit,
Mull
I
wine.
will go.
Here's what I'll do. I'll make hogsmeade juice or whatever they call that. It's called. We're gonna have listeners who are talking
Hogs
about
wine.
this. Hogs wine. I'm gonna make brewing batch of hogsmeade mulled wine. I'll make jelly
Butter
beans. Butter beer. Did you just think of it, or were you
Yeah, I
letting
just
me
thought of
spin?
it.
Okay, yeah. Butter. I'll make butter beer. I'll put a little beer in it this time.
Yeah.
Jelly beans, where only one will be disgusting flavored. So
Okay.
your odds of getting a gross jelly bean are 1 in 100.
Chocolate frogs.
I won't get the actual chocolate frogs, but I'll make a Hershey's thing and I'll melt it a little bit and I'll squeeze it into a frog look,
Okay,
sort of like a frog, and
Yeah.
one that's like a little turtle.
cute.
Okay, so here's what you get. All 8 movies, you come on Saturday morning, right before Christmas, right before your birthday, okay? 8 a.m.
All the way through.
all the way through. I feel like it's more than 12 hours, so we're going to almost approach midnight on Sunday.
We can have lunch once Gary Oldman appears.
Lunch when
Maybe that would take too
when
long.
Sirius
I'll
Black.
be hungry.
No. That's in 3. You get Gary Oldman in
Okay.
3. We would only have
But
to
that's
watch.
still like 9 hours. They're
Well,
so long.
We'll eat breakfast. We'll have jelly beans where only one is gross. We'll have chocolate. I'll order in food after Prisoner of Azkaban. We'll get fully re-steamed. I don't know
Is
what
that
kind
one Quaron?
Quaron, yeah.
Yeah.
You've only seen that one once or twice?
It's been a while.
Whew. Can't
Are
wait
you
for you to
just
watch
sitting
it.
around watching Harry Potter all
I
the
watch
time?
it. Megan and I watch them every Christmas.
Okay. Cute.
Oh my god, I don't want to toot Harry Potter's horn. Okay, whatever. We'll watch them together. You'll see them for the 3rd time each. We'll
Okay.
have some Harry Potter related dinner. I don't know what that will be. I can't think right now. A big roast chicken. I don't even know what they eat. They don't eat a lot of main normal meals.
We'll figure out a way to make candles float in your apartment.
I'll do no. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do 2 hanging on strings in the windowsills. We'll have a Christmas tree by then. We watch all 8 films, and then we'll have a turtle time right after, and we'll talk about your new 3rd time viewing of Harry Potter.
I have to show you photos at my old apartment in West Hollywood that we called the Shire because it's like storybook style, like 1920s.
I love that.
My neighbors, one day under my door appeared a weathered, like tea-stained, aged envelope with a wax seal that appeared to be like a Hogwarts invitation. And it was around Halloween, and they put fog on the grounds of the bungalows, and they were like, I think one of them was like a set decorator. They staged the windows of their apartment to look like shops, and they put up a sign that says Diagon Alley. And they basically transformed our apartment complex into like a Harry Potter land.
For what reason?
And like for fun for Halloween. But I didn't want to talk to any of my neighbors. So I was like, this is cool. And I like did a lap. And then I like went back to my apartment and just like was like a hermit.
You didn't want to talk to your neighbors after they decked out
Well, guess what? Turned out my instincts were right because I am fairly certain that those are the neighbors that left their cat when they moved, which became my cat Penny, that they left in the lurch.
They abandoned a
They
cat?
abandoned Penny to fend for herself, and then I had her for 10 years after that. But
so they were
bastards, and I knew it in my soul.
So
despite their Harry Potter whimsy.
So they gave your complex an amazing, beautiful Harry Potter aesthetic for all of Halloween, and then when they left, they abandoned one of their cats.
They were like weird. Like they were the guy kind of dressed like Paul F. Tompkins. You know what I
like
mean?
like
dandy.
Dandy. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And like, I don't know. I just thought they gave me a weird vibe.
What did the invitation say?
I have a photo of it. I'll show you. I'll post it online. I posted it on like Instagram back when you would put a frame on your photo in Instagram. That's how long ago it was.
I can't wait to see it. Do you think we have to talk about Atlanta and OC?
Should we just do top 3 remarks, not recap?
Top 3, what we liked about it. And let's do OC and then Atlanta. Because if you're with us now and we just had a Harry Potter huge 5-minute section, we talked about RHONY and we went into it. And we talked a lot at the top of the hour about all that shit. This is just breezy OC and Atlanta. So first, starting with OC, generally, this felt to me like something was going on, kind of a sloppy, cut together episode in terms of all the fourth wall breaking and like how many times Shannon is like yelling at production. God. Emily having like a meltdown to production, talking on, FaceTime to Shannon. Yeah. Like, I just felt
everyone was like on the brink.
Yeah.
On the brim of freaking out.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm wondering if they are all worried about this season of OC being a flop.
Yeah.
And they're like ramping things up to scrounge drama halfway through, or like they're even more than halfway through now. I think they're on like episode 11.
Right.
Like they're trying to like really make some stuff happen.
But it did seem genuine though. Like Shannon seemed like really like freaked out and like stressed out, and Emily seemed truly pissed.
Yes. Yeah, but what, like, I wanted to ask you, I mean, all I really want to take away from this conversation is this John and Shannon shit. It doesn't sound that bad.
Right.
And also, like, the moment where when Shannon keeps saying John doesn't want to be in the limelight, he'll break up with me if any of this appears on camera. I'm like, well, first of all, that sucks, and he sucks for doing that.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be in a relationship where someone would be like that, knowing that you've been on a reality TV show for, 7 years?
Yeah.
And then I like when Heather was like, that's not true. John loves the limelight. You've told me. I was like, damn, I got that guy's number.
She said, John loves the limelight, and that's a big reason why he's with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that vibe from him.
Yeah.
I totally get take advantage of Shannon. They do not like each other. That flashback they showed where they were on the boat that they for some reason didn't include, of them having that like soft boil fight where she's like, are you going too fast? And he's like, do you see any wakes in the water, Shannon? She goes, I really think you're going too fast. I was like, whoa, I would have not wanted to be on that boat with them.
Yeah.
But
no,
I-
it's
I-
weird.
why-
I think that it's that classic thing where nothing makes a housewife angrier than another housewife not spilling their own dirt.
Yes. Right, totally.
So-
but why is Shannon so hesitant? Shannon's off camera when she was fourth wall breaking, which I think this is the record for the most fourth wall breaks in an episode. Shannon just got that. She's like, John and his daughter John's daughter and me don't get along.
Yeah.
But don't you ever put that on on the episode? It's like, that's not that bad.
Right.
Why would that not be something that would be?
That's very much like normal, like life stuff that would be interesting.
That's like a 5 out of 10 on the conflict that we've seen on these shows. Like, why is Shannon so? I don't understand what she's protecting. I don't understand. I just don't get anything about this relationship because Shannon's not explaining herself well. I don't understand why she's breaking the fourth wall for something that doesn't sound like a big of deal at all.
Well, that seems like, I think exactly what you're saying right now is what all the other housewives are saying.
It's
like they're like, what is the problem?
Yeah.
Like, you've told us certain things that I guess I won't say out loud because you freak out if we do. And then she gets mad that she's like, you're acting like there's this big dark secret. And they're like, I'm not saying that. Like, you're the one, but like, so it's created, it's the, what's that called? Like the Streisand effect of like her not wanting to talk about these things is making it a huge topic that needs to be talked about.
Totally. Yeah. I just like, I'm not, it's not being properly edited to understand what this is like, how this is going or what's going on. But also, I don't know why Shannon doesn't understand that every single person at this point now has talked about her relationship, and she's talked to all of them about it. So all of them obviously are going to talk about it amongst each other. That's just, I don't understand why this is so shocking to Shannon and why she's trying to stop production every 5 minutes because of it. And also, if John is that horrible that he's going to break up with you, that needs to happen. Like, I don't know. Like, he sounds awful.
Yeah.
And he seems awful.
I liked when Shannon and Heather were talking and she's like, I've told you things that, you're supposed to keep private. And Heather's like, you tell lots of people lots of things.
Yeah.
And then Shannon goes, okay, so now you're saying I'm a loony bin.
Yeah. I can't tell with Shannon. Like, she is like, I love Shannon. I think she's been so good on Orange County, but with her, I cannot tell if she is fully hamming it up sometimes and knowing that she has a archetype to continue to be, or if she's actually that emphatic about what's going on. Sometimes
in this episode, I felt like she was truly losing it.
Really? Okay.
Like, it felt like unhinged.
Okay. Yeah, and then that the what was that tequila fiesta party was unhinged.
God.
That was unhinged.
Oh my God. Senor Noodles.
Senor Noodles was fired up like the grill. He was putting oil on the grill and he goes, well, I guess the grill is working. And everybody was like,
he picked up steak off the grill and said, the stakes are high.
yes, the stakes are high. And then you heard everybody's polite laughter. Like, and then he goes, you guys stop fighting. It's time for a tequila gun. And then he does a tequila gun and he splashes the shit out of Taylor. Taylor
Terrifying.
was soaked.
She gagged.
She goes, I honestly thought it was horrible. I was like, Taylor, that was way
I'd
too
be
much.
pissed.
Me too.
Well, and then, of course, fucking Tequila Tammy gets a hold of the gun and makes a whole fucking scene.
Tamra.
I knew you were going to hate that so much.
Tamra. Oh my God. Enough. And then they show a flashback of her Heather Dubrow. And we didn't talk about it because it was our off episode, but there has never been a worse impression of someone I've ever seen than that brief glimpse of Tamra doing Heather Dubrow. Terry, where's the champs? It didn't sound anything like Heather. It wasn't at all.
I liked her look, though. I thought she did a good job with the hair and makeup.
Her look was fine, but she's one of the worst actors there has ever been, and that was a horrendous impression of Heather.
Can we quickly just say there's a TikTok going around saying there's a prompt saying, have you ever, someone's name just doesn't sit right with you or whatever.
Oh, yes.
And the example was that Gina and Emily have the wrong names, which I've been saying the entire time. I literally had to cross out of my notes like 3 different times because Emily's name clearly should be Gina.
Yes.
And Gina's name should be Emily. And it's so confusing.
It took me a long time as a viewer of watching them over the last couple seasons to finally get that Emily is Emily and Gina is Gina. And I didn't know why that was.
Emily looks extremely like a Gina.
Yes.
Like, it's just like I'd bet like $1 million that her name is Gina.
Yeah. So I didn't know that that's the phenomenon of why I was having a hard time keeping track of them for a while until like now I know them so clearly. But yeah, that's
I'm so
true.
glad. I feel like I've talked about it with friends, but seeing it on a TikTok where the comments are flooded with people agreeing, I feel so validated.
Yes, good. Yeah, that was that was smart. That was like a Mandela effect thing.
Yeah.
that needed to be highlighted. One thing I wanted to ask you about this like the chaotic editing. So Gina and Emily and Heather boycott the fiesta party.
Yes.
And then Emily goes to an Innocence Project dinner. And the way they edited it, it looked like it was on the same night because they're going back and forth at night between two events. But that means that they wouldn't have gone to the fiesta party anyway, unless they're just showing two different nights.
She said, so the Innocence Project one is in San Diego. And there was a blip where right before after the FaceTime, she goes, the reason I was calling her was to tell her I was going to be late to the dinner.
Okay.
But
So
now I'm just not going to go at all. But I'm like, she must, depending on the timing, I feel like she would have been pretty late.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, so it makes sense then. She was just.
But
she
I
did
thought
have
about
two
it too.
events.
Going from San Diego to Orange County, like, I feel like she wouldn't have gotten there till like the end.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
anyways.
And then when they go back, just one thing I wanted to highlight, just because like I'm on a crusade against Ryan, Jen's
Oh my God,
boyfriend now, which I think I am so scared of him and
Yeah.
what he's going to do.
Oh my God.
Someone makes a joke about Eddie is talking about Shannon and John's marriage. He's trying to get a little peace, and he goes, well, it's good to be here to honor your relationship. And then John's like, well, we're not perfect or whatever. And then Eddie goes, why? You're not fucking somebody else on the side? And then Ryan gets up like
out of his seat.
I don't even know what you could compare him to. And he goes, that's my job. Like a total cheesy
He was literally like,
sitcom.
what you talking about, Willis?
Yes, it was like he has a fucking catchphrase.
But everyone loved it. Tamara threw the napkin on him. Everyone was like, ha ha ha.
It's because
Worst dinner ever.
It's because you laugh in the moment, like you'd laugh at that grill guy. He was basically Senor Noodles at the table. Like it was I just can't believe Ryan has made his shtick now, like reinforcing this horrific
I like
thing.
screamed. I was like, no.
And it was like I said it, right? He was like,
It was so over the top. It was like if there was a studio audience, they go, "That's my job."
we should edit it so that it cuts to black and it freeze frames on him doing that, and then the credits roll. That would be a quick, easy
Ooh,
edit.
Let's TikTok it.
Let's TikTok it. No one will care though, because no one cares about Ryan like us.
And then I just quickly want to call out that Shannon went real low blow with the DUI and the CPS of it all. I was like, bitch doesn't come to your tequila dinner and you're going to say that her kids were about to get confiscated.
Oh, she did it. And this is like, that was huge. And that is, Shannon does make those, horrific remarks sometimes. Like she can go low. I don't even think she thought she was being, that low. I think she was just saying that. And I liked Jen's reaction. Jen was like, hey, we're at a tequila tasting party with Senor Noodles. You don't talk about child protective services.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so warranted for the first time in a while for Jen to get that back to Gina.
Totally.
Because that's something you do tell. There's a lot of shit you don't have to tell on somebody else about, like what Tamara does.
Because that's like defamatory.
But yes, totally. I'm glad that Jen sat her down and told her.
Yeah. Also, it made me think about how, so Shannon set her up with a lawyer because she like missed her court date or whatever. And when that happens, you get a warrant and whatever. And I'm like, honestly, like any lawyer worth their salt probably could have gotten her out of that.
For sure.
She just took a number from Shannon and it was resolved quickly, which is nice. But then I was thinking about how Shannon also got Brooks that appointment at RHOG, the like OC cancer center. And I'm like, she just like loves to have that.
She's a connector.
Yeah. Like Jill Zarin style, but then you like hold it over everyone's head that you helped them.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, it was a legitimate thing that Shannon said in the moment that I thought like I don't know, like I mean that it felt organic that she said it and she wasn't trying to throw Gina under the bus and she didn't realize how salacious it was.
Yeah.
But it is, from Jen's point of view, it's like, whoa, what the hell did you just say? Like, that was awful.
Yeah. It is kind of sad when you watch the flashback. I never really realized how sad Gina's life was at the time.
Yeah.
And when you look back, you're like, oh, like, yeah, her life like was fucked up back then. So I'm like happy for her that like her life is cleaned up. I still just don't find her that entertaining, but
Same here.
I'm happy for her, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Overall, I am happy for her.
And the last thing I'll say is that I was obsessed with Emily and Shannon ordering an entire loaf of bread at lunch.
Me too. I love that Shannon asked for a recommendation. What's good here that's also healthy? And they go, well, the person sold the shit out of it. She goes, a summer salad. I get it every day. It is like the best lunch you can ever have. And Shannon cuts her off and goes, I'll have a cheeseburger. And then Emily goes, I'll have what she's having, right? And then she goes, we want
they're
all
like,
the...
do you have like a loaf of bread? And they're like, we have a fresh sourdough loaf. And they're like, we'll take it.
I loved it. And then it sort of, they rebounded together. They were like, I'm sorry. I was a little outrageous on the phone. I want to try to make this work. And it ended on a sweet note.
Yeah.
Like, this episode had a lot going for it.
Yeah.
Like,
It is interesting though that Shannon has decided to lay the blame at Heather's feet for all of it.
which is awful. I mean, this campaign against Heather is,
It's crazy.
is completely
And they're
unfounded.
like, but it stems back so far because they show that clip that was at Lizzie's beach house where, remember Shannon's like, one day everyone will see the truth.
Yeah.
And Heather's like, Terry, do we need to call an ambulance?
Yes.
Which I'm like, that is so outrageous.
Oh, yeah.
To be like, that's like the definition of gaslighting.
Totally.
Of like someone's emotional and you're like, do we need to call 911?
This person is like out of their mind. It needs to be assisted out of
Terry's
here.
like, what? Why?
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I don't.
But
this-
it makes me laugh.
it does to me. And then Heather's really letting them sort of run around on her name without her being there. I mean, she's giving
Yeah.
them fodder because she's not there.
She's at her apartment in the sky.
She's basically just on her own. She wants to be on her own spinoff and
Yeah.
wants to just dip in, dip out, not
Right.
really talk to them.
I didn't even think about the repercussions of her moving to LA, meaning that she would no longer live in the OC.
I know.
Like until she said it in her confessional and was like, I'm not leaving Orange County. I was like, oh yeah, like you're a real housewife of Orange County. Like
I know. And they don't currently live there. 55 million.
crazy.
55 million.
Can you believe 55 million?
55 million. I want to go.
How much was the new one? 14?
Oh, was it?
The
That
condo, I think, was 14. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah. And I didn't really believe the thing she said about how, like, she can have so much more acting jobs. If she got booked on anything, Orange County to LA, an hour and 15 minutes,
Yeah,
an hour
get a
30.
hotel.
Or, like, that would, yeah, get a hotel. Like, Terry cares if you're in LA. He'd be
or
there.
also they could afford to have an apartment in LA.
This move is not predicated on.
Also, what about Terry's practice? Isn't his surgery
Yeah.
office in Newport?
I call bullshit. If she got cast in anything, she's not going to let her living in a $55 million house in Orange County be a disadvantage to her. She'd get there every single day at the call time at 6 a.m., no matter what it took. And I don't think that was limiting her acting career.
I mean, I don't see any problem with them having a place in both, like the way like Oprah lives in Montecito, but I'm pretty sure she has a place in LA because OWN is in West Hollywood.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah, you're not going to drive to Montecito every time.
I worked
you know?
right next to OWN one time.
Oh, yeah?
At the Funny or Die offices.
Oh yeah, by the Formosa.
Right behind the Formosa.
Well, as
I
we've
believe.
discussed, we used to live right there, both of us.
Yes. Yeah, and I thought, well, the Funny or Die offices were beautiful. I don't know if they're through hard times right now, but they were beautiful. And then OWN was just on the exact same lot.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry, it was in the same building, just on a different floor.
Nice.
Oh my God, it was the
Yeah,
best.
I never went in there, but I remember Jimmy has done work there. And
I
then,
worked with Jimmy on it. I was just
okay,
going to say.
what year was that?
2000, I mean, I'm so bad with time.
Because I don't remember.
4 years ago?
Okay.
3 years ago? A long time ago.
We lived here in my current apartment then, but there was a time when Abso for some show had a office over there, and he used to just park at my apartment
Oh, wow.
with the parking pass
Oh, hell yeah.
and go to work. And it
Cool.
was like, and he would, on lunch breaks, he could like come chill at my apartment. It was great.
So you were saying Oprah is has 2 locations to make it.
I'm pretty sure, because I think I watched a show about her building the OWN network, and at first she was just driving from Montecito like every day, and it's
Whoa.
like, that sucks.
Do you ever watch the OWN network?
I used to watch it more when there was more Oprah related content. Like they had a show about the last season of the Oprah Winfrey Show, like a reality show, and it was very interesting. I recommend it to anyone. And then there are some like Where Are They Now shows where it's like her hosting old clips of the Oprah show and
That's cool.
following up on guests from before. She had Super Soul Sunday, which I like, where it's like her interviewing spiritual thought leaders
Wow.
or authors.
Is she religious?
More spiritual,
Okay.
but yeah, I think she's a Bible reader. And so anyways, I watch all the Oprah content on OWN Network, but I don't watch their original series.
Okay. I was just thinking while you were saying all of this that like I don't follow Oprah very much at all, but like I watch those like American Experience documentaries where they're like huge biographies of
Yeah.
people. They're like 2 or 3 parts. Like Oprah's, when they get around to that, her like PBS American Experience, that thing is gonna be
Oh man,
fucking amazing.
her history is insane. Like the shit that she's been through
Right.
and overcome.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. I know we're like in a anti-billionaires era, which sure.
We are?
But I give Oprah an exemption. I don't need to think too much about anything bad she's done.
Well, I mean,
I cover my ears.
she has to get an exemption. I mean, she did
She's
it
done
all.
so much good, right?
Yes, and she did it all herself.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not like a
Nepo baby.
who got 500
She's like
million.
the opposite of a nepo baby.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I can't wait to watch an American Experience or a
Her
3-part
memoir.
HBO documentary. Does she have
Her
a memoir?
memoir's gonna slap. She's been keeping journals since like she could write.
Whoa. There's a big Barbara Streisand like 1,000-page memoir coming
yeah.
out soon. Are you going to read that? Do you like Barbara Streisand?
Yeah, I'll probably do a listen. I hope she does the audio.
Oh, she should.
Yeah.
I think she'll have to. I think like Prince Harry did his. I think if
Yeah.
you are so associated with the material and you're a celebrity, you have to do your own.
The heir and the spare. I had frostbite on my todger.
Did he say Todger? Yeah. I read 40% of it because Megan wanted to listen to it and I wasn't interested, but I still listened to it because I wanted to read a book at the same time as her, like an audiobook. I never got to the part where he lost his virginity, which was
yeah.
like, wasn't it behind a bar?
Rolling in the hay behind a bar with like a cougar.
Yeah, I never got to. He must have saved that for like the end of the book.
He was
'cause-
like, she touched me down there.
oh, you would do such a good Prince Harry.
Me and my friends like would not shut the fuck up about that book for like 2 months. We were just like talking about my todger for like a year.
And you listened to it?
Yeah.
It was good, read by him.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, it was just funny. Like it.
You don't like you thought it was more ironically fun?
There were definitely tongue-in-cheek moments. I do have sympathy for him, but I think his perception of what he went through is overblown in, compared to what most people have been through.
Oh, for sure. I agree 100%. And I was only listening sort of ironically as well.
Yeah. I had a lot of thoughts at the time. That's a whole other
Yeah.
conversation. But
Well, let's
what's that called? Speed round.
Atlanta speed round. Okay, so first off, just generally, speedy as hell. Atlanta is good. I think you and I were talking about this. Were we talking about this on mic today, or was that before we started talking?
Oh, that's a good question.
Atlanta is good. Is my philosophy. Atlanta is good. It's
Even
underrated.
though the internet seems to be saying, I saw a tweet this week that was saying, they've lost the plot. I don't understand what's going on, and I was like, I don't think it's that bad.
I understand every minute of it, everything that's going on. Wait, was that right before we started talking? Oh my God, I don't remember. But anyway,
You guys, the line between record and not
need
recording
to
is
just-
very thin. We have no idea what we have said just to each other and what we've shared.
I'm gonna walk in the room and just hand you the mic and start recording on my laptop so that everything we talk about. But anyway, Atlanta is good. It's underrated because Atlanta is so good. But if you want to see a bad season of Bravo and you think Atlanta is bad, go watch Salt Lake City season 2, and you'll see I think one of the worst seasons of Housewives.
People love that shit though.
Season 2 of Salt Lake City.
I remember at the time, I feel like everyone was like, Salt Lake rocks, baby.
Well, there is a huge disparity in what people enjoy from the Bravo universe, and there is a 50% of people want every show to be rebooted and started over. Like,
Yeah.
if Atlanta gets rebooted, I think it'd be the worst decision they've ever made in their lives.
Yeah.
The real way to do this is just to get friends of that actually work, like Kenya and Portia. When they came on Atlanta, they fucking killed it. They were so good. They rejuvenated the show, and it was organic. They had to like work their way up.
Yeah.
And then now Kenya is like top 3
Yeah.
most powerful people ever in the history of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
anyway, Atlanta is good. If you're not watching now because you've heard it's bad, just zip through this thing because this Drew and Ralph stuff is amazing.
It's percolating.
Ralph is the worst house husband almost in history. The
No,
pantheon.
he's terrible.
We need to do a Mount Rushmore of top 10 worst house husbands in history.
And we should do one of the best.
We should do all of these. Like when we need those topic-based episodes.
Yeah.
Ralph clinched it. This episode has the entire time. So a lot of this episode is they are filming Todd's movie.
Yeah.
It's called The Pass.
Filming it at their own house.
And it looks like
including a sex scene in him and Candy's bed.
And it looks like every single scene takes place inside in this one location.
Well, they're filming it in 10 days.
And it's a 10-day shoot, which is very, very quick.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because there is you know how they say that a director's films are usually a peek into their psychology, and you get especially
like Kubrick.
especially directors' first films are usually more autobiographical. What the hell is Todd trying to say with this hall pass where Drew is cast as the woman who gets the hall pass and she's making love in his actual bed in his house?
Well, that's the thing. He seems like he's not even the director, but he's acting like he is. Like he was talking about like shot for shot, like blocking and all of this, and I was like, is that even your job?
Well, some producers they hire a director who's just hired on to
like
fulfill
technical.
Like Tom Cruise is the author. Like he was the director of The Mummy, that film that like flopped so hard. Like he had power over every single decision. If someone's head was out of frame for 1 second, he would go another take immediately right now. Even though the director, like you said, technically knows everything. I feel like Todd hired someone on, but he is 100% the author of this
he was
film.
like, I want to see the G-string from above, and you're going to pop out like this. And I was like, dang, you're a visionary. I was like, are you the DP too?
Yes. And then we get I love this behind the scenes look. I loved seeing the AD. I love they're talking about the intimacy coordinator, which we never saw.
Yeah, I know.
Drew. So Todd is singing Drew's praises. He goes, God damn, he goes, Drew is acting her ass off in there. He goes, the best decision I made is hiring Drew, which I cast a doubt that was like the proper organic choice and not just because they wanted to get this filmed on the show, and have it be. But I do think Drew
she was
out.
calling upon the Uta Hagen method. She's like legit.
Yeah, she was doing so. She really. What's the Uta Hagen method?
So there's there's Uta Hagen, there's Lee Strasberg, Meisner. There's like the main core groups. The
we should
lessons.
Get on the podcast. Jeremy Strong.
Yeah,
and he can talk about
if this movie works dramaturgically.
Yes. No, let's do a hypercut of just the past scenes, which would probably only be 1 hour, and we get his take on how Drew is doing as an actor and what he thinks about the production overall.
Yeah.
Would you like that?
I would love to see it. And then he would get really excited when Drew said that she was using all 5 senses.
So she said that Drew said because she is so unattracted to a woman and can't find anything of merit in another woman to be attracted to, she says, I have to rely on my 5 senses. What did that mean?
I think she really was being one with the environment. She was relating to her character who when she was talking to Ralph, she really was getting excited about, she said she loved her character, and it seemed like she was doing that thing where you write backstory for your character so that you have historical knowledge of who that person is, and so you can embody them. Right. It really seemed like she was putting so much work into a movie that does look like a Lifetime movie. Sorry.
Yes. No. I mean, I hate to disparage Todd and Candy, but I will say there were some professional. There was a lacking of professionalism on this film. First of all, should have definitely been a closed set when Drew was having that sex scene. I think the intimacy coordinator, if there was one, which we didn't see, should have requested that
Right.
because
Yeah,
Drew
the
was
entire crew was in there.
Drew was perturbed by the amount of crew that was in the room.
Yeah.
And then also, I thought it was brave of Drew she kind of talked shit about the production when she got into the van.
Uh-huh.
She was like, after this movie, I'm only doing Lifetime and above. Like, she was basically saying she wouldn't be involved in a production like this
Right.
again. I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when she was sitting down with, who was that guy that was sitting with her running lines or whatever?
So that was interesting too. It said on-set assistant. And I was
Okay.
like, that's not a typical crew job.
Right.
A
I was
cast-
like, what does that mean?
Yeah, a talent on set do not all get their own personal assistants.
At that level,
No.
especially. But then when Ralph comes in, they're sitting at the booth in the trailer, and the guy starts to get out, and Ralph goes, "Are you going to be able to slide out of there?" Basically calling him fat. And I'm like, Ralph, fuck you.
Yeah. And then Ralph does the most stereotypical awful husband who is seeing their wife in a film and talking about how like sexually satisfying or like getting off or
He made a thespian joke.
yes, thespian, lesbian. He starts to say, how much kissing was there? What did they got
He
you
was
do?
like being disgusting.
And Drew, I think earlier Drew would have tried to make Ralph appear better and try to get him out or toss it off and pretend like this is like friendly and fun or whatever. But she basically shuts down completely and just lets him hang himself with those awful things he was saying.
You could tell she was disappointed.
Yes.
And like in her confessional, she was just like, he's not taking this seriously, because it was sweet. She was actually,
Yes.
expressing that she was excited about, she had figured out her character, that she felt like she was doing a good job, that like whatever. And he was like, did she eat you out? Like, I was like, okay.
And then he goes and he's smiling from ear to ear and he's like, did you have an orgasm on camera? It's like, oh my God, like this is a professional environment. She's an actor. That is like
Yeah.
the absolute last thing you would want to talk about after. He cheapened it so
Totally.
much.
No, he sucks so bad.
And yeah, like you said, like Drew is very endearing in this environment and out of Ralph's shadow, like I am very sympathetic to her.
Totally. I just wanted to say a quick shout out. First of all, that Cynthia is in this episode again, so she's very much like friend of this season. Second of all, Sonya's OBGYN is Dr. Jackie from Married to Medicine.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I never watched
I
Married
was
to
like,
Medicine.
do you think that was already her doctor, or
Oh.
do you think Bravo was like, that's your doctor now?
Oh yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that a HIPAA violation?
I thought that was fun. I thought that she was great on camera, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I watched, I think the first season of Married to Medicine, and it's a good show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then also, just while we're talking shout outs, Apollo is at the Sip and See,
Yes.
which I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and Apollo first came back. Was it last season that Apollo came back and he was at that big Sheree? We finally got to see the She by Sheree fashion line.
Right.
I feel like Apollo was
he
there.
modeled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's not getting in the mix, but it definitely seems like he wants to be
Yeah.
a part of it.
Totally.
So the second thing, in addition to the past that is going on, is that Sheree has one of the best. What is that called? Baby, not a baby
Sip and
reveal. A
see.
sip and see. Speaking of the RHONY having a beautiful anniversary
Oh, yeah.
party, this thing,
She spent some cash on this.
and even Kenya had to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It looked awesome in there, and the baby reveal when she actually strode out, I thought that was the best looking like carriage with flowers.
roses,
It
yeah.
looked beautiful.
Yeah.
Mecca looked like that was actually an amazing environment for
Yeah.
a sip and see, I thought.
Yeah. Didn't Phaedra have a Sip and See?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was I don't remember. Was it in that like ballroom or whatever?
She had multiple events. I remember there was one where she had roses in
Yes.
her hair.
Yes.
And there were like ballerina dancers.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Sheree wanted the official #1 sip and see
Yes.
in all of Housewives history. I liked her talking to the what was that, like the decorator of the party.
yeah.
Like he was like she was like, just do whatever you want, and it really showed.
Oh, yeah. They hired her decorator, had quite a look with
Yes.
his like pompadour.
Yes.
And then he was like, "I've hired the Balloon King."
Yeah, that was great. And then Sheree extended invites to the outer Atlanta peripheral figures.
Hangers on.
Yes, and one of them, I completely forgot whatever this conflict was, but
Right.
Anthony, Sheree's former assistant, had an altercation with Drew at a event where he threw a shoe at her.
Yes.
And then when she shows up to the party, she goes, "The person that assaulted me is here at this party, so I'm not going to go in." And then I like that Candy just went right up to him and was like,
She was like managing this whole scenario.
Yes.
And he is like up to no good, this guy.
he goes, "What is that old white ass talking about?" to Drew.
He goes, "Ain't nobody worried about Drew's wide ass." And then Candy's like, "Well, did you throw a shoe at her?" And he goes, "I threw a shoe because she threw her cheap ass bag at me.
Yeah.
She owes me a coin and her husband an apology," which is when I knew he couldn't be trusted.
Yes. What did Candy say that was very astute about like how much attention someone wants?
She said she will take the side of who's not trying to start the bullshit.
Yes.
And she said Anthony is clearly trying to start the bullshit.
That is like a golden rule. Whoever tries to make the most out of it and like does the most with
well,
it.
you know, Candy always says, "Don't start none, won't be none."
Exactly. I felt like that was a truism that Candy really highlighted.
Yeah. Also, sorry, I missed this in my appearances. Lisa Wu appearance.
Yeah, Lisa Wu, very quickly though.
Yes.
What happened to? I don't want to. We're about to hit 3 hours, but why that OG dinner now makes even less sense. They were invited on the cast
Right.
trip. They don't show up, and now they haven't been to one event since.
It
Except,
totally flopped.
yes. What the hell was that?
Yeah.
And then in addition to Anthony, this person that threw a shoe at Drew, we also see Bob
Yes.
Whitfield.
Oh my God, I'm still so scared of him after that
No.
like terrifying when she brings up his abuse to her and he makes a joke about it and it's so
yeah.
fucked up.
Oh, awful.
And also, okay, we have to just quickly talk about how on earth did Sheree not know he had a third daughter?
He was being very what's that called? Ambiguous. He was he wasn't offering a lot in terms of when he knew, when he found out,
How
the
old they were.
timeline, how old they were. I think she might have been a surprise to him up
Right.
until a certain point.
Yeah.
So Sheree and her time never even coincided. She just didn't. He might have been a surprise to Bob, and so Sheree didn't know either.
Yeah. But it's crazy that
Sheree learning that information at the party.
at the party
It has to still go on.
after taking the photo where
Yes.
she says, Candy goes, "Who is that?" And she's like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Well, she's in your family photo." And she was like, "I thought it was like someone he was dating, which is why I brought Martell into the photo too, to
Yes.
be petty." And then it's like, so you have this family photo with this person that you don't know who they are, and then afterwards you realize it's
Yes.
your ex-husband's
And,
daughter.
and then Sheree just has to like move on, go on. She goes into this photo she goes, "We all got to get a photo together." And then they go, "What about us just learning that Bob has another daughter?" And she goes, "Well, he's been a piece of shit and he's still a piece of shit. Cheese." And then she just takes a photo. I was like, God damn, Sheree
Yeah,
is
she
so...
was unbothered.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, there were some other like minor moments in this. Like I felt like that Marlo Foster thing. Like I don't want to talk
yeah.
shit about it, but it was, Kenya said, she tweeted, she was like, that was a fully forced event where Marlo just wanted a storyline right towards the end because she knew the finale was coming up soon.
Yeah.
And they like boycotted it. So like just Courtney, Sonia, and Sheree were
Yeah,
there. It
well,
was,
Sheree came for like 5 minutes.
yeah, I was kind of sad.
It was sad.
But overall,
It was. I had just watched the Innocence Project OC episode, and so like back to back, I was like, they're trying to weave in some,
Yeah.
issues to highlight these things. But
there was so overall I thought Atlanta is just very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Almost with anything they're doing, because it's just like I've said a bunch of times, but the cast is just so entertaining that I could really watch them almost do anything.
Yeah.
The only time it's like a flop zone is when it's like friend of is trying to get attention. Like Courtney Moneta is not panning out, I don't think.
yeah, did you notice that Candy called her Mo?
Yeah.
I like that nickname.
Yeah, that was kind of sweet.
Mo.
One last thing on the Innocence Project. Emily, when she was taking that person that was wrongly convicted of murdering her boyfriend, Do you remember
Yeah.
that? I was like, whoa.
I know. She was like, they were just shopping at Cynthia Rowley, and she's like, all I know is I came home to my boyfriend dead on the floor. I was like, what?
Yeah, and that wasn't really discussed that much.
I know. I was like, excuse me, we need to get into this more. I also thought it was interesting. I wonder if, because the Innocence Project is like a big deal. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what Kim Kardashian is affiliated with. And that event seemed like a satellite operation. Like it was like a San Diego. It seemed like a hometown version.
Yes.
Like I feel like the Innocence Project probably has better
Yeah.
galas than that.
Wait, was Marlowe's the Innocence Project?
Hers was just about foster care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was the Atlanta Innocence Project?
I just meant that it was highlighting
Yes.
people that have overcome.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like it was like, felt like the show specifically wanted to
Yeah.
pull at the heartstrings.
Marlo, as much as I love her, and I think she's so funny and great, I do think she struggled with what she tried to present this season on Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, it was throwing a lot of stuff at the wall to see what sticks, and it felt uneven.
Yeah.
And she really, really flopped with going after Candy
Yeah.
because she lost a huge ally there.
Totally.
So anyway, but
Yeah.
I liked all of these episodes. I thought they were the best version of what they could be within these
Currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this current era, they were all the best they could be. And I was stoked. So watch Atlanta. If you're listening, if you already made it this far and you don't watch Atlanta, but you liked us talking about it, Atlanta was very good.
Yeah.
OC was fun, characteristically fun.
Yeah.
And then RHONY was a rare good one.
Totally. And then what that RHONY mid-season trailer shows, they're going on a cast trip, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, I think they're going on a cast trip. I still didn't see much where I'm like fully convinced this is going to get a lot better.
No.
But I am interested to see, like, Uba doesn't seem like she would have a fight with anyone. So I'm interested to see what makes Uba so pissed.
Yeah.
And
She calls, accuses someone of being on control cruise.
Yeah.
Instead of cruise. Oh my God.
you know, you were about to say it right.
I was like,
Control cruise.
Sure.
We're you and I are just like trying to get to the 3-hour mark, but we'll never make it. Yeah, I thought this was a good. We did good today, right?
I think so.
I don't want to toot our own horns, but if you like this episode, let us know, because Amy and I are always thinking about it. If you still like us, if there's still love,
comment, like, subscribe.
Yeah, do everything that someone who loves someone would do at the end of a podcast for us, if you don't
Rate,
mind.
review.
And then if we always say this, but if you listen to us but you don't subscribe to our Patreon, we are in the golden era, the start of the golden era of Vanderpump Rules, and we're recapping it. And we are one episode away from the episode that is titled Bitch Slap.
Oh, yes.
And if you are a Vanderpump Rules watcher, you know what that means. Season 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we love you so much. I mean, really, does anyone love our little turtle cuties more than us?
No way.
It can't happen. And then Amy and I are going to get ready for that huge Harry Potter party at Christmas time. So, all right. We love you. Go to sleep.
Bye.
This one's for you tonight.